Hello everyone. Welcome to another video with me, 320 Sim Pilot, or another live stream I should say in this case. So thank you all for coming along. We're going to be taking the FlightFX C750 Cessna Citation X, one of the most confusing names I've ever had to talk about on a stream or video. We're going to take it for a flight from here in New York, Newark Airport. We're not doing JFK. I don't want to get shouted at today. We'll go from Newark and we're going to hop it down to Nashville, and we're going to take it for a bit of a chance to stretch its legs. The block time that SimBrief came up with was 2.5 hours, but the flight time is only going to be an hour and a half. It's going to take us no time at all. This is a fast, powerful machine, so it should be a good bit of fun. Thank you all for coming along for today's live stream. It's great to see you all here. First of all, Chris, Tyler, good to see you. It says proper aircraft, looking forward to this one. Thanks very much. And yes, this is a serious machine. Just look at the engine ratio to the fuselage. It's ridiculous. Hayden, good to see you, Hayden. I hope you're doing very well. Hayden says, surprised you're not flying the latest Phoenix. Yes, I am behind the times. Of course, this came out a little while ago, and the Phoenix has had its big update since then. The reason I'm not in the Phoenix is a lot of the new features are in 2024, and I tried it in 2024, and I had serious performance issues. There was just no way I could stream it, and I haven't had a chance to figure out why that was happening. So that will have to come a bit later. But yeah, I will get that. We'll get the Phoenix out on the channel at some point soon, I'm sure. Otherwise, Dougal, good to see you as well. Thanks for coming along. I miss you too. And thanks for coming along today. And I hope you're doing very well. Crash Ed, great to see you as well. Crash Ed says, looking forward to flight in the Citation X. Was in Nashville a couple of weeks ago. Fantastic. We've also got lots of people actually. Paul, good to see you. Alex, thanks for coming along. Really appreciate it. Ace Airstream, good to see you as well. Captain Wazza, thanks for coming and moderating. Captain Wazza says, good morning. Just out of bed, bringing a coffee in San Francisco. Can't stay. Got to do all the tourist things. Looking forward to FlightFX when I get home. Excellent. Organ Aviator, good to see you as well. And Tom Nichols, thanks for joining us. Tom R, it is, we are in, it's the late afternoon in the UK, or early evening, depending how you'd like to see it. Insight Hub, good to see you. And the Giliotis, if I get that right. And C. Gonzalez, thanks for joining us. And AJKN, good to see you as well. So, C750, this was Cessna's answer. They needed to make the Citation stop seeming like the sort of the cheap, slow jet option. So they made the fastest, and it held that record for a long time until Gulfstream came along and ruined that with some of their G aircraft. I'm not sure why we're clipping into the ground here. Hopefully that won't be an issue, but there we go. So we're going to take it for a spin. We're going to do a cold and dark setup. I'm going to see what I can remember after my video, which I've made in this aircraft. And I have a terrible short-term memory. I learned these airplanes for a day, and then I really struggled to remember them after that, which is really bad. I think it's because I have to just sort of remember how the airplane I fly at work is, and I think it doesn't allow space for too many airplanes in your mind. But there we go. Let's see if we can manage this. So it's cold and dark. I've set up the aircraft weight as per SimBrief. 2.5 tons of fuel was what we needed for this trip for an hour and a half flying. I mean, your car could go a few years, I'd imagine, on 2.5 tons of fuel. But sadly, that's going to get us for an hour's flight down to Nashville one way. I've upped it to 3 tons so we can make sure we go as fast as possible. I want to really get this airplane up to speed. But we have a full cabin today as well. Very, very popular. I'm not sure why the pilots are not showing either, so we better add those in. So, yeah, we need 2 pilots, please. And that's put us overweight, so we're going to have to offload some bags. Interesting how easy it is to go over the zero fuel weight on this airplane. It's not actually got as much capacity as I imagined. If you're going to fill it up, you probably wouldn't want that last passenger forced to sit on the toilet at the back of the cabin, but there they are. So that's the airplane. It is cold and dark, as I said, so we're going to go out the doors. Oh, there we go. They actually appear. I did not know it did that. So where's our poor passenger stuck in the back? Oh, they're not shown. No, that would not be the best place to be sat. But still, this is a fancy machine. I quite like the decoration in this one, sort of grey colour. And we've already seen the outside of this model. This is a great add-on. They've done a really nice job with it. A little too clean for my tastes, even for a business jet. But other than that, very hard to fault. They've got lots of textures and details just right on this airplane. There's those big engines. So anyway, we won't spend too much time getting distracted. We need to get the airplane up and running. So, first of all, let us bring up the checklists. Works really nicely on this add-on. We are going to be on VATSIM, and we are live time, and we are live weather. So we'll see how it goes. And I think we have a couple of controllers en route. We've already got our departure clearance, and we've got Newark, ATIS, and ground. So yeah, because in America now they send you just log on to their CPDLC system, and they just send you the clearance these days. You don't have to call up. It's quite a good system actually. Right, standby power switch goes on. So let's close this yoke. This won't take long, everyone. Don't worry. This airplane is surprisingly easy to get up and running. So standby power goes on. And just tick through when you do this. Emergency light switch goes to arm. Now, I say it's surprisingly easy, and I've immediately forgotten where the emergency light switch is. That's not too much of an issue for what we're doing today. Where on earth did it go? We give in. It's behind the EFB, of course it is. We'll move all the way up to arm. Tick. And then we'll go back to our seats, which won't work now because I've done that. So we'll go battery 1 or 2 can come on. Airplane's starting to power up. We need the ICAS system so we can check on the engine, and then we're going to start up the APU. APU's dead simple as well. Master switch goes on. Give it a second. You can run a test if you really fancy. The generator is in the off position. The bleed air is in the off position. I'm going to run the starter. And up it goes. Right, now how do I get this camera back to where I want it? This is a slight issue I've had with chase plane, where the checklist seems to interfere with it and put it back there. So I need to cancel that checklist view. Maybe just cancel the checklist. Nope. Don't know. We shall figure that one out as we go. Not sure what to do about that. Anyway, right, over here, APU is now running. We can turn on the generator. That gives us power. And we can turn on the air. It gives us bleed air. Back to our checklist. Chase plane update fixes a few problems. Yeah, I need to get the latest version. As ever, don't run on the out-of-date version like me. APU start we've done. Avionics power switch on. That is down here. Avionics goes on. That powers the rest of it. IRS align nav. They are down here. So I'm going to put them straight to nav, and they'll run through a line. So if you didn't do the standby power, this bit wouldn't work. That's a common problem. I saw when people comment on my video as well. You've got to get the standby power switch on first. And then FMS, we can do our present position. So we are here, present position, GPS position, they match, so we'll just load the GPS position. And now, will it have my flight plan? It knows where we're starting from, but I don't think it's going to load it in, so I'm going to do that myself. So, flight plan, here we go. We're going from Newark, and we've been cleared by traffic for this route as well. It's quite a short route, actually. We're going to go to Nashville, which is KBNA. I'm not sure if we've been to Nashville on the channel before, but there it is. And I think I'm going to put the departure in right now. What runway are they using in Newark? That's 4 right, departing 4 left. So we go from runway 4 left. And I think it's quite likely we'll just have the Newark 5. That's quite a common sort of thing here, but I can check our ACARS message. I'm going out to park eventually. Yep, Newark 5. These are usually just straight aheads, and then you'll get vectored from there. Activates. So that is that done as the first part of the route, and then there's a discontinuity. So we're going to go park. Yeah, we're not going to the southern hemisphere. That makes that easy. And then we're going to take Juliet 6. Juliet 6. No. Do I have to put a dot? Juliet 6 to Hotel Victor Quebec. I didn't actually have to type in my flight plan last time. There we go. That works. And then Hotel Victor Quebec. And then Quebec 68. To Yoki. I wonder if they'll ever do a QWERTY keyboard. I think the 380 has a QWERTY keyboard. I'm convinced that would be easier than this. Quebec 68 to Yoki. Then Grote We can just type in, it's a direct. And then it'll be the passenger for arrival. We'll do that later on. Good. It's already loaded, I don't think that matters. Good. Okay, right, so perfect nits. There we go. Full performance. Climb at 300 knots, Mach 0.8. That's, funnily enough, that's slower than the 787 climbs faster than that. But there we go. This we want to get up high and then get up to our speed. Net cruise altitude, it wants to go to 370. We might stretch it higher than that. And we can sync with the EFB our weights. There we go. Good stuff. Oh, Hayden, so apologies. Hayden J. Robbins has super chatted. Let me see if I can I rerun that one? I can rerun the alert. Thank you very much. Hayden J. Robbins super chatted £2. Looking forward to this. Phoenix stream soon too, Hayden says. So thank you so much, Hayden. Thanks for supporting the channel. Thanks as always for being here. Apologies I missed that one first time round. And yeah, Phoenix, we'll do the Phoenix. If I can reliably get Flight Simulator 2024 to work, then I'll definitely be up for running the Phoenix. But yeah, thank you very much. So that's done. That's our time on route, 1 hour 30. That's about what I expected. And fuel remaining. It's going to have plenty, over a ton. So takeoff, taking off from 4 lefts, 27 degrees. It is warm over there. That's into 29902. Is that right? Is it actually 29902? No, 3030. Very high pressure. Well, that's in our favour. That's higher pressure than we've got in our performance that will survive that one. Calm winds as well, which is slightly misty out there. Slightly reduced visibility, 7 statute miles. But I think I need to type it in to get the numbers. There we go. 27 degrees. Good. And we'll go next. Ah, there was a patch yesterday as well. Excellent. I might try that out. I'm not sure. I had terrible performance with it in 2024. There's the conditions. Dry runway. And we'll have anti-ice off. It's plenty warm enough. We'll go flat 15. It's got the weight. Confirm. And hopefully that now gives us some V-speeds. Okay, so there's the route and the performance and the weights are all in there. Even though we only need to do the position. Parking brake set. Wheel chocks, let's remove those. Now how do I get the camera back? That's upsetting me now. What did I do to get rid of that? Get rid of the chocks. And we can close up the door. Good. Passenger briefing, seats, exterior lights, ICAS. Exterior lights are all over the place in this aeroplane. They're often the hardest thing to find. Where are the exterior lights? Not down here. There we go. Taxi light and landing lights. Engine idle positions. I want just like the beacon. Or the nav lights. Ah, there we go. Nav. Seat belts. They can go. Actually, we'll put them into passenger safety. Nav lights. We'll do tail flood. Actually, it's broad daylight. That's not going to make a difference. So, does that work? There we go. Nav lights are working. Very good. Good, good, good. Let's just set the Q&A. 3030. Fuel is in the right place, I hope. Yep, 6550. Left and right tanks. There is a way to change the units on that. I don't remember where that was. I have seen that. V-speeds. That we've set that in the FMS page. That's already done the APU. So next up, starting engine time. We're on the private jet apron. I don't think we need to call ground, but I might do that. I might do that. Let's just check where we're sat. Oh, please. Please, how do I fix this camera? Tom Nichols says, what issues are you having with 2024? I loaded up the Phoenix in London in 2024. I was planning to make a video with the new update, and it just lagged unbelievably. So I need to try it again. I'm sure something I must have missed, but it was just not happy. Yeah. But I don't use 2024 much because I really, for the reason that whenever I turn it on, something else seems to be an issue with it. So yeah. Now, this camera issue, I did manage to fix this before. I'm determined there is a way. Worst case is I might need to just adjust it myself. Because luckily, they do put this system in here. It's really not too bad. Maybe be a little more right. How does that look? Something like that. Just the PFD, it's all we need. Thank you very much. Nick K, super chat of £7. Really appreciate it, Nick. Nick says, hi, can't catch you live. Live stuff and work. You know what it's like. Love the channel. Have a cracking stream. Thanks so much, Nick. Really appreciate the £7 super chat. Very kind of you. Thanks for supporting us and for coming along to so many of the streams. And we'll see you at the next one. Yeah, I hope you have a great evening. Thank you very much, Nick. Really appreciate it. Let me, I think I need to go onto actual YouTube. There we go. Then I can react to those. There we go. Thank you very much. Very kind, Nick. Right. So, I think that's done. We'll save that. Then we go back. And now, hopefully that's solved. Good. So, next up, engine start. So, we'll talk to Newark. I've increased the bit rate today, so I'm hoping you'll get a slightly clearer image than you did last time. We've got information. Echo. 030. And we have the charts. They're in here. We are on. What do you think that's called? West Park? FBO? Something like that. Let's try that out. And we need... Oh, they've gone off. JFK's got a tower. There's no one here on Newark, just the ATIS. Fine, off we go then. We'll just start our engines. Even easier. So, let's get the SID chart. We're going to go on a Newark 5. I don't think there's a way to save the charts, which is a little bit frustrating. So you end up with this sort of having to keep finding your charts again and again. Or not at all in this case. There it is. Newark 5. Oh, actually it's a left turn. No surprise, they want to turn us away from Manhattan. So we're going to take off, make a sharp left. So, take off, 500 feet, right turn 055, left 290. And let's just check that the flight plan matches that. 500 feet, 055. It's doing it out to 4 miles, which is there. D4 IE is there. And then 290 heading as assigned. And then there's a discontinuity going out to park, which should be somewhere way over there. It's good. The lateral navigation and VNAV system on this airplane is really excellent. There's park, so that's where we're going to end up. So I'll fly that, and then we'll just go direct to park. And we're going to go it pretty fast. So engine starting time. Do not let me click or check for any other of the camera positions because it's going to mess up my camera again. After using the checklist camera, try disabling and renaming chase. Yeah, that's probably the way to do it actually. APU start, we've done. Pack isolation valve knob. Now apparently I got this wrong in my video. Someone commented, so let's put it the other way around. Closed. Oh, maybe vertical is closed. That's closed. Yeah, I see. I can see that now. Start duct pressure at least 30 psi. That appears somewhere over here. I did see it. There is a way to see it. Everything is visible if you know where you're looking on this. Start pressure, there you go, 47 psi. So I wonder if I don't isolate the valve. Nah, it doesn't seem to matter. Good. And then we're going to start the engines. So, I'll put the beacon on. It's probably the recognition light. Oh, maybe it's ground recognition actually. Maybe that one. There's the strobe lights going. Not quite. They have all weird lights, private jets. They do all sorts of clever things. Somewhere there's probably a beacon. Anyway, we've waved to our ground crew. I'm not sure we'll be able to taxi given the... Ah, there we go. It's my hardware. Put the gear up. Hopefully that's not a problem. And we're going to start the engine. So we're going to start the right engine. Going to press the right hand button and then move the throttle up to idle by 10% N2. Right hand. %. Throttle up to idle. Oh, they're already at the idle position. Should set up no trouble. Hi Graham Christie, hope you're well. Mark Burgess, good to see you. Thanks for coming along. Hope you're having a good day. The Smurfport says, did you remember to put the caviar in the mini fridge? It better be the best caviar. Yeah, it had better be really, hadn't it? Well, they're living in luxury flying around in this anyway. that looks pretty stable. Starter's gone out. Tick, 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 tick. Yes. Do the left. Start. You can hear the hydraulic PTU running. Can you hear the airplane? Does it make any sound for you? Let me know if it doesn't. There's ignition. Throttle is it? Idle position. And they should have got backup engine instruments up here. Something we don't have these days. Because I thought you'd just put the ICAS over here if you need to. Ah, maybe not. Maybe it doesn't do that. Unlike the 787, unlike the first generation of glass instruments, they got rid of this. This was because they were scared of using screens on airplanes, so they kept sort of backup specific engine displays. Even the 747-400 had it, but they got rid of that now. They're pretty confident in them. And then you can usually manipulate the screens to put it wherever you want it. That's the other thing they sort of changed around. Good, that's all worked. We've got hydraulic pressure as well. We can see that if I go to hydraulics. There they are. That's all good. Go back to norm. So we're going to put the generators on. So right hand generator on, and generator on. Looks like they're actually already on, unusually. Ground, air service or GPU. We're not using those. Bleed valve open. Let's turn off the generator. It's ready to load, but we don't need it. We'll turn off the bleed air from the APU. We don't need that. We've got high pressure, low pressure bleed air from the engines, so the aircraft can pressurize itself. Something I forgot to do in my video. I'm going to stop the APU. Let it cool down for a second. And this is a check of the bleed sources, but we're not going to do that. Right. For taxi checklist here. So flight controls, we need to check we have full and free. So if we go flight controls, control position, aileron, elevator, and we've got our rudder just the bottom half at this stage, and then the rest of it once we're taxiing. I can't tell you why. Part of it's electric, part of it's hydraulic, so I believe that's the hydraulic bit we're checking there. Flaps and slats we're going to stay up for now. Strangely, we'll put them out once we go out for takeoff. Rudder we've checked. Ah, I see. Now we can set them. And we said we were doing it flat. I think we said flat 50. Now I've got, what's it done? Why is it set so much flat? Seems to have lost control of the flaps slats. And I don't know why. It's still working. That's very odd. I have never seen that before. Anyway, do we have 15 out? Slats are out. Flaps are out. Yep, looking good. Speed brakes are stowed. That's not working either. So we've lost quite a lot of controls. Anyway, we've aligned our ICAS, anti-ice systems, pressurization. And outsell, what's our stop altitude? Above 2.5. Then it would be from air traffic control. Just check our V pilots. Yeah, there's still no controller. And the clearance was climb by a SID, expect 380. So just to climb by the SID. So that's above 2.5. Expected radar vectors. 3,000. So we'll put 3,000 in the altitude. I like this shortcut because this is actually down on the center pedestal. It's one of the worst bits of design on this airplane. The autopilot controls are here, so that's no good at all. So it's much better that they put these little shortcuts up here. We don't need to do the CDI because the FMS is going to do it. Our V-speeds are now working, which is good. And we're going to stop at 3,000 feet altitude. Heading, we're taking off from runway 04. You can actually click it to sync it as well. So I'm just going to spin it around to 04. John says, how did you get the checklist as part of the overhead menu bar? Is it an add-on? I'm in 2024, can only get it in the EFB. In 2024, I'm afraid it's only available in the EFB. That's they moved it into there, whereas in this one, it was its own little option. Yeah, I couldn't tell you why, but yeah. So sadly, that's just the way they've formatted it now. Right, that's ready to go. I still don't know why I've lost my speed brakes and my flaps. That's very disappointing. That's going to confuse me a lot throughout this flight. I can tell you that. And probably means my parking brake won't work either. Nope. Might just do a little check. I haven't forgotten something else here. Ground services. That's all clear. Good. I'm gonna have to do a little cheat here. No. My pedals work. My pedals work. This is unusual. I've had flight controls not working, but that all seems fine. We've sorted out the fact that we sunk into the ground. Right. Anyway, passenger lights we've done. Secure. Time to taxi, which is lights. Release the parking brake. So let's put the lights on. So taxi lights down here at least. We know where that one is. On. It's calm winds. They were using 04 last information we got, Jeff, in VATSIM anyway. So let's get ourselves out to the runway. What is going to help is if we have the charts. So we go back to the taxi. We know the departure routing now. Just the airport chart. So we need to go left. Are we facing south? We are facing south. So a left turn. How are we going to get out of there? Yeah, and out on that line. Okay. If I can just release the parking brake. But I can't. What's going on? What control is interfering? Something is interfering with my ability to adjust the aeroplane. Just give me 1 second. I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, resolved. My Trustmaster TCA must have lost connection between the two bits, which I've never seen it do before. Anyway, we are now underway, which is great news. So let's head over to the left. We'll just have to do a very tight turn here. Now that's good. Look how close they'll look out the window, yeah. We're fine for that. Hi Richard V, good to see you. Thanks for coming along. I hope you're doing very well. Yeah, very quiet on frequency. Now we do have I've been a very good VATSIM pilot, and I did check. We have a CTAF frequency here, 1183. Ground was online. I'm just going to check again. Definitely not. So 1183, that's what we need. Now what I haven't tried before in this airplane is doing the radio. So we've got 3000 in the window. I'm going to take off manually, and then we're going to put it into VNAV. The Mach trim and the yaw damper are on system A, and they're available, so that's good. Put the autopilot in as we get out there. No run-ups to do. This is a proper jet airplane, thankfully. So 1183, let's see if we can figure that one out. Should be... Oh, it might be a nightmare, actually. Let's see. This could be really hard. Yeah. Not too bad. Not too bad. Go, 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 go. Down 183, please. Okay. And we're going to take off from 04. We're going to taxi a long way down. So we're going to cross 2911. And then we're going to head down that outer taxiway, which is called Bravo. And depart from 4 left. Perfect. Okay. Good. Newark ground, Manta 246 is taxiing, crossing runway 1129, then we'll be taxiing Bravo down to runway 4 left for departure. Good, 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 good. Right, we're into the west part. This is the most confusing piece of taxiway I've ever seen. Probably should have done this as a group flight. Maybe that's what we should have done with the private jets. I've seen these aircraft like this, they often taxi out and they'll use idle reverse because they just got such big engines that they Let's go across to Romeo. They have such big engines that they just have so much idle power, and the engines are up and out the way, so idle reverse in this airplane doesn't have the same problems as it does on airliners. So you can just do that, and it will just stop the airplane running away and heating up its brakes, because they won't have brake fans. Very unlikely. We don't have a squawk code yet, no. But that's a good point. Let me check. Maybe we do. Squawk 6635. You're very right. Thank you very much. Good spot. We're going to go right here. Did not need to turn all the way over there. This is not a 777. And we're going to head down here. Then Romeo turning into Bravo. All clear on the left. All clear on the right. Strobe lights would go on. I think I'm just going to put them on now, and then I will not think about them again. Just leave them on for the taxi. Not a great view. There's too many window bars in this airplane. I will say that. If I can be really fussy about my millions and millions of dollars worth of private jet. This is quite a well rendered airport in some of the taxiways, anyway. And Romeo down to the end. Good. So let's see if I can set that squawk 6635. That's going to be down here, isn't it? Six, 2, 3, 5. And we'll carry on with the checklist. So done that. For takeoff. Anti systems we're not going to check. We're not going to need today. It's very warm, 28 degrees. Flaps and slats are set for takeoff. We've got now they've gone up. That's why it's in the checklist twice. So we can now set our 15. That's better. And we have the full rudder. So out of interest, if I set the flaps up to 0, yes, there we go. That's the trigger. So at 0, we just have the bottom section, the main part of the rudder. Good strobe lights on this airplane. I like that. And then once we move the flaps out of the up position, we get full rudder. We get that top panel moving as well, which I think is the electrical panel. Dougal says, I love the US Auto ATC system, but wish CTAF was either used by everyone or abandoned. Yeah, I don't know of any. I don't think there's anyone else flying with us today, are there? Is anyone coming up behind us? No, it looks like just us. Newark to ourselves. Pretty nice. We should do a flight at JFK at some point. I think we've done that only in Concorde, and it is time we do a Concorde stream. I need to, like I say, get X-Plane back up and running. Good. So, speed brakes, trims. That's a good point. Let's make sure the trims are definitely set. Pitch trim is not set. This airplane often needs some nose-up trim. Takeoff. And it does take off. It rotates very nicely, this airplane. Very nicely indeed. There we go. So set its green in there, which is quite nose down actually, but we have a lot of weight in the back of the airplane, so that's no surprise. Sorry, quite nose up actually, but there we go. And yaw damper Mac trim, they're ready to go. Crew beefing, radar, transponders on TR8. Pitot statics need to come on. So we don't need the windshield heat, but we do need the pitot statics. That clears out some messages we have there. Exterior lights, engine instruments, ICAS. So we've only got pack, high pressure valve open on the left and right engine. So those high pressure valves are open to pressurize the air conditioning packs on the airplane. And that will stay like that until we add more power, and then they can use a lower setting. We've got a really low takeoff setting today, 67.5. That's probably to do with the fact that it's so warm, and we're using a very long runway here. So I will go full length, even though there's no way this airplane needs, what's that, 3,300 meters, 3.3 kilometers. Massive great runway. So we're going to rotate to 13 degrees, there we go, and we'll go for takeoff. We just set full throttle, and it will just set it to the takeoff D10. Is it full throttle? Oh no, takeoff, there we go, we want takeoff. That's what we'll go to. Good. Right, I think we're ready to go. And then it's pretty straightforward. We get above 170 knots to clean up. Climb and go. We'll be very, very quick once we're underway. Lauren V, 2500. Good to see you. Thanks for coming along. Lauren V says they almost always depart from the taxiway short of 29 when departing 22 right. I think it's okay. I've just gone with the old ATIS that was on before the controller went offline. Long way down. Okay, I think that's sufficient runway to get one of these things into the air. So we've got all our lights on. I'm just going to announce it. We are at Victor. Newark Tower, Manta 246. Lining up and taking off from Victor, runway 04 left, making a left turn out to park. Clear on approach, clear all out there, clear on the left. Calm windsock, so that matches what we thought. So we could have easily just taken off subtly and saved ourselves that taxi, but it's given us time to get things ready. We're on the left-hand runway. I've got the flight reg as a standby for now because we're just going to go with 13 degrees full power. Right, let's go. Our passengers have important places to be. They want to get to a nice bit of country music in Nashville. There's takeoff power. 83.7, there we go, it has raised, so that is a more reasonable takeoff thrust setting. And it's running. Very sensitive nose gear, no surprise there. 6 now at neutral. Accelerating like an absolute rocket. There's rotate. Gentle, continuous rotation. 13 degrees, holding. Positive rate. Gear coming up. Yeah, I've never seen that. My Thrustmaster just seems to lose some connection. This is such a nice aeroplane to fly. Effortless. The rotation in particular would easily get up through 15 degrees. Bit of nose down trim needed. It was a little nose high. And there we go. Roaring away. And that's heavily derated. And where this airplane is going to come into its own is once we clean up and get it out into the higher altitudes. It's just going to rocket away from the other traffic. I'd love to fly one of these over the Atlantic. You'd overtake everyone. Right, making our right turn. I'm not sure what the little dot is as a flight director. And we're almost reaching our level off. I'm not sure if there's a flight director or what it's meant to be. Is it a flight director? On the 780 it would be. Let's go for nav mode. Out. Actually, we'll take VNAV, Flitch. Let's try the autopilot. So in LNAV, V Flitch, we're above 170. Flaps coming up a stage. Let's try to level off at 2.4. $3,000. Flaps up. And we're not allowed to go above 250 in America. They're quite strict on it. LNAV's working nicely. I would like it to actually go up to 3,000. So there we go. The Flitch, outside its arms. Needs to give it a bit of oomph so we can clear that. And then it should start to climb. There it goes. 250, starts to climb. And it's back into outsail. Now we have no auto throttle system. We're not going to fly it with auto throttle. It wasn't initially released with it. I don't think we'll need it too much. And let's have it on Newark 5. Around the turn we go. 3,000 feet. There are some great approaches to Newark where you'd see, there it is, there's Manhattan. We haven't seen it much on the channel. That's pretty cool. We should do one of the visual approaches into Newark. Come down the river there, it's absolutely awesome. 2020 looking very nice though. I think the green dot's a flight path vector. Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think it's a director, I think it is just the vector. Right, let's go to park. So flight plan. Next, park, previous. Oh, no, we have a direct button on this airplane. It's better than the Boeing. There we go. Park in LNAV. And if we have a look at the performance, cruise 390. I think we can go straight up. There's no more altitude constraints. It's a shame actually, I don't get to show off the its system, but that we should get to see it for the descent. So if I do Flitch or VNAV Flitch, then we'll go to climb thrust is our limit. 39 thousandths. It is starting its climb. Or set standards. Standard. There we go. 2992. Sync the heading bug. You can just click on it, which is true on the actual button down here, which is great. Sorry, heading's there, isn't it? There. Sync. So we are in LNAV. We're in flight level change with the autopilot. 250 knots target. Flying up to 39,000 feet. We'll be there in absolutely no time at all. Doing 4,000 feet per minute. Still accelerating. So we'll do more than that fairly shortly. And crucially, unlike in my last attempt at this, We have the high pressure, low pressure valves automatically on. I think the airplane will be able to pressurize properly. Let's just get rid of this yoke. Let's see what I'm doing. So cabin altitude is gently climbing. There we go, 300 feet per minute. So that's a good sign. It's a good sign that this is working. Diff pressure, cabin altitude. Ooh, I'm not sure. It's really 3,000 feet. We shall see. We shall see. Now, I'm interested to see the 270 knot limit. I wonder if that's to do with the windscreens. The Dash 8 I used to fly had a similar thing. Yeah, and then it just suddenly drops out. And it was around 8,000 feet as well. I think it's to do with the windows. So if I press... Yeah, if I leave it in VNAV, the speed is managed by the airplane. So even though it's in flight level change, it's in VNAV flight level change. So it's going to move that target speed up. Who needs auto throttle? Me. It's a great feature, and you know, if we're doing a busy approach into Nashville, then it'd be really nice to have, especially if there's other airplanes around. But I'm hoping we'll get away with it today. I don't think we'll need it. Park, and en route we go. 10,000 feet. We didn't do the landing lights, but certainly the taxi lights can go off. I'll leave all the other lights on. Passengers can wander around. What is this light? I don't even know what it's actually doing. Ground recognition, and anti-collision. So we'll leave that on, certainly. Okay, there we go. Thanks for the subscription, CJ. And there we go. It's going to climb at 300 knots from 10,700 feet. Running the checklists. Landing gear is up, flaps. That's all that. Throttles through and climb. And we can see that there with climb. Anti-chaff systems not required. Engine sync knob. So yes, we can now synchronize the engine. I'm going to do it on the fan, just to stop any harmonization. We turn it off for approach and for takeoff, so we get full power out of it if we need it, but now we don't. Pressurization check. Yeah, let's keep checking that. I'm not convinced. I don't trust it. I don't like these old systems. So differential pressure is rising rapidly. Cabin altitude has not risen at all, so that's a good sign. I didn't actually, in fact the cabin altitude is leveled off completely. The only worry I have is I didn't actually set anything in there in terms of the altitude. I'm hoping it does that automatically. Oh, here we go. I can set it on here. So we're cruising at 39,000 feet. So actually we're going to go a bit higher. So it will need to climb. There we go. So it is climbing. Okay, fingers crossed that's going to work. Right, so it climbed for us. Good. We're underway. Tick, tick. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, you got to go through. Next is for the cruise. DJ said, hello, just wanted to drop by and say thank you for all the guides you made. Really helpful for a beginner like me. You're very welcome, DJ. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for saying so. Great to hear. Glad they've been useful. John Della says, everyone I know who's bought this says it's a fantastic sim, and I agree with them. I love it. Yeah, and I do too. And I don't remember... Yeah, so it was retailing at launch. I haven't seen, I assume it hasn't changed, for about just under $30 or just over £20, which I think is remarkably good value for what you get. I was a big fan of their Piaggio P180, so I was very excited for this aircraft, and it's just a really nice age of aeroplane. It's sort of, there's enough to do without it being difficult. Oh, we can turn off that APU master switch. We don't need that anymore. Yeah, it's there's every dial. You know, look at this, all the vents work and everything like that. The ICA system is all being custom made. But then they've gone to the extra effort. These are CRTs, and they look like it. You know, you can see the curve in the projection, the slight pink hue of the background of the altimeter tape. And that's not true of all add-ons we've ever seen. And then to be at that price point, I just think it's really good. They're a bit unlucky in the sense that I know some people absolutely love business jets, but there's no doubt in my mind that the majority of the market for Flight Simulator is going to be in airliners. It's just the way it is. It's certainly what I always wanted to do when I was first simming and growing up. So these sort of unique business jets, I imagine, have a smaller market, but at that price, I think this is a good value one. Our planned cruise is Mach decimal 86, by the way, but we're going to go faster than that. The 787, 85, 86 is as fast as it will go, but we can beat that today. bit of a headwind, but that won't affect us because we're going to be going so fast. I'll take an extra fuel to allow it, because these jets probably don't actually, although they can go at those higher speeds, they probably don't always do it because they there's a big fuel penalty once you start getting faster and faster like that. That's my understanding anyway. So we can see bearings. We can set up a VOR if we needed to. We are just navigating by RNAV, which is just how it is these days. Heading out to park, which is there, and then we're going to be carrying on our route. So really, we'll get up in the cruise, and then we'll do that. Just put that away for now. Yeah, I am disappointed in this window view. There's a little too many windows. We could do with just 2. So through 20,000 feet, 3,000 feet per minute, still doing 300 knots. Very good indeed. Yeah, in fact, I'm going to get rid of that pointer. Don't need that right now. That's just more information on the screen. Over here, weather radar. Yes, I want to put that on. Just because I struggled. So let's do weather. And it just stays off. Yes, I couldn't figure out how to do it. We are going to be in inches. We don't need metric out. MFD set up. We've got the wind as a vector, that's fine. Oh yeah, vertical profile, that's what I want. This shows you the VNAV system. This is really good. Very well done. Very well implemented. Good. And you can manually do the V speeds for takeoff and so on, but I've got it set to automatic, so it takes it from the FNS, which is by far the best way to do that, like always. So, what's the top speed on this plane, Sister Mango? That is, let me get that for you. It does vary a bit, but I think it's Mach 9.2. If you get the Citation X Plus, it's Mach 9.3. 9.2 is ridiculously fast. It really is. Like I say, you're significantly above any airliners at that speed. Oh, we've got some traffic. That's unusual. Well, maybe we don't. No, well, they're certainly not displaying, unless I haven't set it properly to display. Keep going if I can sync. Yeah, and we're going to be able to climb the ceiling. It's 51,000 feet. So the reason that's good is weather, thunderstorms. You know, a bad thunderstorm is when I see, you know, you see if it says sort of thunderstorms up to flight level 350 or something, then often in an airliner you don't go over them like that, but it means that you're going to have more room to maneuver around them. Whereas if they're up through flight level 400 and above, then they are big thunderstorms. They'll have big impact areas, and no one's flying over them, so everyone's trying to get around, and you just can't get anywhere near them, obviously. This airplane, however, at 400 still has 10,000 feet clear, potentially. Now, I don't know whether you'd actually take this airplane to 51,000 feet very often. The service ceiling, you know, the 777, the 787 can go to 43,000 feet. You're only realistically going to do that for an hour or two at the end of the flight. There's no point doing it earlier than that. So I don't know whether this airplane will spend much time that high. But certainly when you're in the 40s, which seems likely for this airplane to get to, we're quite heavy today. I think that's what's encouraging that low cruise altitude of 390. But if you're lighter and you want to get up there, then you'll be above all the other traffic on, for example, the North Atlantic track system. You might avoid slots because you'll be going through airspace out of the way of everyone else, for example. So yeah, a pretty nice option to have. Simon Georgie, good to see you. Thanks for coming along. Miku as well. Cat Crazy says, are there snacks on this plane? There's a passenger beside me who is looking at me weird. There certainly are snacks on this plane. There's loads and loads and loads. Ah, that's disappointing. Oh, this is a posh fit. Where's all the food? There we go, we found some drinks. Bedding. I am certain I've seen food. There we go. A Jupiter caramel chocolate. A delicious bar. A cocoa wave. Okay, I'm really hungry now. Not entirely convinced about that. Velvety milk cream filling. I could be tempted. I could be tempted. That looks good, whatever that is. Can't get to it, sadly. So yeah, plenty of food. 31,000 feet, still doing 3,000 feet per minute. No trouble at all. Still at climb rating. Very, very good indeed. If you want the weather radar on, the button's on the panel left of the PFD. I haven't actually tried this panel over here. It looks like the black square Starship. MFD weather. There we go. Thank you very much. MFD weather. Brilliant. Solved. Not that we particularly need it today. I'm going to try and move my seat higher up. It's a little too high now. There we go. Okay, let's save that. Okay, that was good. Right. Are we sitting in the middle? No, we're not. I'm sorry about this camera. I'm pretty sure I want to be lined up with the PFD. Oh, I see, but now we're too far that way. You could fiddle all day with this. Something like that. Save. Seating position's so important, and it's so noticeable. If you do a landing in an airliner and you didn't have your seat right, you'll know, because nothing will have felt right, and it won't work like you thought it should. Converted, by the way, because we're in VNAV, it's converted to Mach, so Mach 0.8. Yeah, it's so disappointing. You can have a landing and you flare, and then you realise this isn't quite right. We're not in exactly where I wanted to be. You'll be safe, but you just won't. You'll float a little longer, or that's typically what I find. If the seat position's too high, you'll end up floating down the runway. That's the easiest thing to happen. Yeah, that looks really good, actually. I'm happy with that. Maybe a little down. Maybe a little down. I could fiddle with this all day. It's just so important. The Airbus, of course, solved this because they put in such good markers. You've got your Airline marker here, which looks like we're actually pretty well marked with, which the Boeing doesn't have. 39,000. Now we're not going to stop at 39. Let's go up. Let's keep going. Let's go up to 4. I want to go higher than I've gone, commercially. Odds, evens. So 48,000. Let's get up there. There we go. And recenter. And I'm just going to move back to there. Yeah, and Airbus has all the lines, so you can see exactly where you should be sitting, your armrest should be. It's just great. Sadly, the Boeings don't seem to bother with that. This plane is supersonic, but it's limited to Mach 0.92. I would imagine this thing could dive into a supersonic speed. I can't imagine it's very good for the engines. I mean, it could look fast, isn't it? Look at that ridiculous sweep angle. The wingtips are behind the fuselage almost. It's another feature of that big wing is what allows us to get up to these heights. But the problem is you put a massive wing on the airplane and it gets more draggy, less efficient. But this one, they got it right. Still doing Mach 8, down to 240 knots indicated now. Through 40,000 feet. We've finally killed off that climb speed, 1900 feet per minute. And I haven't told the pressurization what we're doing, so it's going to start getting upset. So let's go 45. Otherwise that diff pressure's soon going to run out of room. Joshua E says, checking in from the office, missed the stream. Thanks for coming along, Joshua. I'm regretting that I didn't do this as a group flight. I think we could have done. I thought there'd be a little more. It was too early in America, isn't it? I thought there might be a little more VATSIM. I think we could do with the private jets as group flights. Maybe we will. Maybe we'll take this one out on another flight. But there we go. John Della says, I much prefer the displays and input system on this citation to the more modern ones with Garmin, but that's just me. No, I agree with you. This is very natural to anyone coming from an Airbus or even a 737. It just feels, it's more of a Boeing because it's gone for that whole flight level change system and so on. But even so, it works, and it's pretty obvious, and it's very powerful. The way the information is displayed is great. Lauren V made a good point. As ever, Lauren V, the air traffic expert. Lauren V says above 410, there's no RVSM, so flight levels are every 2,000 instead of 1,000. That is absolutely correct. Totally missed that. So yeah, you don't ever end up using flight level 420. You'd go 410, and then it'd be 4.3, because you can't put someone in between, because you have to have 2,000 feet separation. And that's because originally RVSM wasn't a thing, and when airplanes first started going up this high, they would put themselves 2,000 feet apart, and that's because the aircraft systems weren't very accurate. So we'll go to 4.7. But yeah, it's improved, so they decided that they can put us 1,000 feet apart, and they can, and it's amazing that they can actually, because 1,000 feet is not a lot. But that's what we do. However, once you go above 410, you're out of that sort of control zone where airplanes have to be certified to be able to fly there. They have to have certain equipment. So if you lose, your autopilot, for example, you're not RVSM capable in theory. It's not considered sensible for you to be up there. It's not really struggling. We're still doing 1,100 feet per minute. The 787 would be doing this from 10,000 feet and above. So yeah, 218 knots now, still Mach 0.8. We're going to increase that speed once we get up into the cruise. It's so cool, and you're just so far, like I say, above the weather. There will be storms that can reach you up here, but they're relatively few and far between. And if you're doing stuff in the northern hemisphere away from the equator, you're unlikely to be running into it very often. Google says, sounds like someone is getting Airbus withdrawals. Yes, indeed. There's so many great things about the way the Airbus is designed, and it's something I did appreciate when I was on it, because I flew another aircraft before I flew the Airbus, so I knew how nice the Airbus actually was. But it's even now, now I fly a Boeing, I still look and go, the Airbus, it had some really clever bits of design. They've really thought some things through, especially the integration of the automatics into the system. And that sounds like a bad thing, that sounds like I'm suggesting Airbus somehow have they're trying to get rid of the pilots, but they haven't. It's not in that sense. What they've done is they've made it so that it's so easy to manipulate the autopilot. It's just built in. Whereas sometimes on the Boeing, it feels a little bit like systems have been added, and then you have to the procedures are built around a new system being added to an older sort of idea. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. That's just my feeling about it. Sometimes. An example would be to reject a takeoff in an Airbus. You can just close the thrust levers. You just bring them back to the idle stop, and the Airbus just says, "Oh," and it turns off the autothrottle system. It knows you're stopping. That's enough, because you've hit idle. And at any point in flight, you hit idle, and it just turns off the autothrottle. The Boeing, on the other hand, if you need to reject the takeoff, you bring the throttles back, and you have to press the buttons on the side to disconnect the autothrottle system. The fact you brought it back doesn't tell it that you want to get rid of it. And the reason for that is the thrust levers move throughout the flight. So there is a reason it's there, but as a result, that's an extra thing to have to do in a very high pressure scenario. Just an example. Anyway, there we go. We're now 500 feet to go to our cruise at 47,000. Missing the tray table, says Rid. Yeah. You know what? I can live without the tray table more than I thought I would be able to. I thought I'd be more upset about it. I've gotten used to living without it. Maybe I should say that. And it's helped that I think on short haul airplanes having the tray table is particularly. Oh, don't press that. What have I just pressed? Don't press anything. Load shed override. Let's put it back to norm. There we go. Okay. Yeah, there's 47. We have out, and now it's gone to its cruise speed, 0.91. So it can't go to 0.95 up here. Interesting. Yeah, so you need a tray table on short haul because there's not so much space on the flight deck. Although the Airbus A320 flight deck is very good, whereas the big Boeings actually there is a fair amount of space around you, little cubby holes and things like that. John Della says, what is that add-on for seat height? It's Chase Plane. Highly recommended. It's not available in 2024 at the moment, but it is for 2020. Gives you these cinematic views and all sorts of things. I'll let you enjoy those for just a moment. Lauren B says, you have more time to put things away and take them back out on long haul, I guess, but there is significantly more dinner eating involved. You'd think so. But funnily enough, I felt like I ate more on flights when I was short haul flying Airbuses around than I do now on long haul. On long haul, it's sort of like a challenge. You just don't want to eat. If you eat too much on long haul, it's not a pleasant sensation, and it's not a very comfortable thing to be doing. And it's a very easy way to eat too much, because if you're on an airplane for 8-9 hours, which is not uncommon, you could easily eat 2 full meals, right? But actually, you haven't really done much with your day in terms of burning calories. So yeah, it's something a lot of pilots I've noticed on long haul will only eat once. And I've flown with pilots who eat no meals at all. They might eat some snacks and things. They won't, they're obviously not hungry, but they just avoid eating while sitting there. So fun enough, when I was on short haul, it was a case of just inhaling food whenever it was visible. I don't know if that's just because you're burning more energy. The other thing, of course, on long haul is if you're flying overnight, which 50% of the time you are, then it's about not having food at the wrong time of day for your body. Sometimes it's unavoidable, you're too hungry. I find as well, if my rest and sleep patterns aren't going particularly well, and then you're feeling a little bit miserable, then some food might be the way to cheer yourself up. You sort of give in to that side, but in general, trying to limit it is the answer. Just trying to go as long as you can between eating. Wait till you're actually hungry to eat. Anyway, I'm talking far too much about food, but that's long haul for you. Thinking about food and sleep is a large part of the job. Oh no, Lonry says Airway J95 has been cancelled and replaced with 818, for example. Fixes are almost the same, just in VORs and downgraded. Ah, there you go, yeah, that's happening a lot. So have I got a flight plan wrong? I'll have a look. Constantly updating airways. Mickey says, I have a random question. If you need to maintain a speed restriction and your minimum clean speed is like 1 or 2 knots over, would you need to just maintain the speed to the knot with flaps out? So, good question. If I was told by air traffic to maintain a speed, by the way, it is manual thrust, so we should stay in here and actually get this right. If I was told by air traffic that they want me to maintain a speed and it's 1 or 2 knots within my 1 or 2 knots slower than my minimum clean speed, I'm assuming you're talking about on arrival, then I would probably fly at 1 or 2 knots faster. If I'm flying a procedure and there's a speed restriction, for example, out of Salzburg or somewhere, then I would absolutely obey the restriction and leave the flaps out. The reason for that is, if it's an air traffic restriction just to keep your spacing, then 1 or 2 knots is not going to make much difference. If they are really strict about it and they say you must do this exactly, then fine. There are some places you won't get away with that. You just got to judge it by ear. But if you're in a relatively normal airport, then 1 or 2 knots is neither here nor there, because the instruments aren't often calibrated to be within that range anyway. And then you can stay clean. That would be particularly the case if there's turbulence, or if there's icing. I don't want the flaps and slats out in ice or turbulence if I can avoid it. The frequency. Now, if the reason for the speed restriction is a procedural restriction, it could be to do with keeping your turn radius. Because if you look at our speed now, we're at Mach 0.91. Where's our ground speed? Is that shown anywhere? It's not actually. It's a bit of a shame. We are roaring over the ground, I'm certain of that. There it is, ground speed, 470 knots. It's not as fast as I thought, but we have a 40 knot headwind. That's interesting, actually. Why is that not so great? Anyway, it's still very fast. If we now do a turn, it's going to be a great big arc because we're going so fast. And likewise, near to the ground, that's also true. So the speed limit might be to stop you getting too close to terrain. So if it's a procedural speed limit, I would obey it exactly. And we're talking 1 or 2 knots here for the air traffic one. Alright, let's get the frequency. So 133.725. Right, we haven't really had to use it much today. Let's get this right. We are Manta 246. They won't have heard of us, I'm sure, so we need to be very clear. And this is DC 32 Center. Center, Manta 246, flight level 470, routing to Mike Romeo Bravo. Center, Manta 246. Now we're pretty much maxed out here at climb. I'm just going to set it to cruise. It has a cruise setting, just leave it there. That way I don't think we'll overspeed. However, we're not getting any luck on this frequency because 833 isn't available. Yeah. FMS, nav tune. Thanks, gentlemen. We can't do it. Nav. Tune. Com 133. Thanks very much. So I think what we'll do is leave that on this side. This is because we have the older radio set in here because of course I'd like to put this airplane as retro as possible, but its punishment is we have no auto throttle and we can't do the radios like that. I haven't seen that for a long time. A long time. Center, Manta 246, flight level 4702, Hotel Romeo Bravo.
20. 2 at once, Jojo 273, Washington Center, roger. Who else?
Manta 246, flight level 470, Hotel Romeo Bravo.
And let me see, what's your call sign, sir?
Manta 246.
Manta 246, Washington Center, roger.
Thank you. Good. Hotel Romeo Bravo. Micro Bravo even. If I could get that right, that'd be helpful. Oh look, you can see I assume that's the bank angle limiter up at these levels. It's doing good speed though, keeping us at Mach 0.9 effectively. We're faster than anyone else, I can tell you that. Lauren V says, it would also depend on the software they have. Apparently in Canada, they can see whatever you have in your MCP. Yeah, I've heard that. I know that I know controllers can see what altitude you've set. I know that for sure. Whether they can see the speed you've set, I don't know. But again, I think for 2 knots, they wouldn't unlikely to care. Question though. Tristan says, Captain, are you still flying long haul 787? I am indeed flying long haul. What I haven't said on the channel before, but what was pretty, I think a lot of you had worked out, is that I have now flown the 777 as well. But that's going to be a topic for another stream, I think. We'll do another video on the 777, another stream certainly anyway on the 777. Talk about some of the details, the differences. Today I just wanted to get this airplane up in the air. I absolutely love making a video in this one. I wanted to fly it again. Because like I say, I often don't get the chance to fly these things more than once for my videos, so it's nice to do it again. How's our pressurization, by the way? And then yeah, we'll go in full detail on the 777 once I can. Right, 45,000 feet, 7,000 feet cabin altitude. That's the target. We've got level cabin, 7,000 feet ish, lift 0.9, 24 degrees. Now that is too warm.
Washington Center, Delta 1236 with you, flight level 370. We're sitting just about 8 miles south of Alaska.
23 at night. With the sun streaming in.
Center,
yeah.
roger.
AJKN asks, does it get boring flying ILS approaches all the time on long haul when you're the lucky one getting the landing? Or is it welcome relief after a long late in the office? Yeah, you can fly an ILS approach or an RNAV approach. I tell you, there's no, on short haul, it's fun to fly a fun approach. Charlie. You're right. And you're right, on long haul, it is nice just to have a good facility airport with a big runway, big ILS that's radiating well. so you can just have as much help as possible after a long flight. However, that video I made for the Tokyo, that visual sort of last segment to land in Tokyo, doing that after a 14-hour flight, it's awesome. So it does depend. You wouldn't want it every time, but yeah. Does it get boring? No, I don't think it does, because on long haul, yeah, your approach is different, but you're landing in a new part of the world, so there's that excitement always added in.
DC Center, Sirius November 172 Charlie.
Lauren B says, we can't see any of that in the US, talking here about what we've set on the mode control panel. So the fact that I've told the airplane to do Mach 0.91, or the fact that I've set 47,000 feet in the window, we would say that air traffic control can see that in some parts of the world. Lauren B says, you can't see it in the US. I don't suspect it will come anytime soon. FAA controllers don't see the point of it either. Ratting pilots out isn't what they signed up to do. So the reason air traffic controllers can see what we've set, I don't think they can see our speed setting. I know they can see our altitude setting, and I think that's the only one that I've heard of them actually being able to see. They can see the other things like our vertical speed and so on, because that's just transmitted to them.
Anybody on here? DC Center 133725.
Have I missed the reticle? Should we answer?
Confirm it's Golf Tango Romeo Indy Papa Papa Arcane flight.
But the main reason is they want to see the altitude you've set so that they can call you and say, hey, I cleared you to this level, not that level. That's what it's really about. The whole speed thing, I don't know. Lots of parts of the world don't really get so upset about the 250 knots below 10,000 feet. America seems the most strict on it. Perhaps because they have such a large amount of crossing traffic, and America is unusual for having, you can be descending into JFK and you'll be told there's VFR traffic passing down your right hand side at 20,000 feet, and it'll be a Pilatus or something. There's so much private aviation in America that you just don't see around the rest of the world. So that's, amazing. You're being separated from VFR traffic in a,
November 1 Echo Mike,
250-ton airplane and a little single-engine Pilatus that you're trying to see out the window.
359
AJKN says, congrats on the 777. Finally got that brown Boeing flight deck. Exactly. Exactly. It's just a step closer to the 757, both in numbers and colours.
Left heading 140.
Lauren B says, you didn't miss anything. No Washington controller would call themselves DC Center.
Flight 1517
What
information hotel.
are they supposed to be called, Lauren B?
Left runway 5 left.
That's 5 left for frontier flight 270.
Indeed, Mango, indeed. We're getting there, we're getting there. Lauren B says, as per the regs, the only person who can cancel 250 knots below 10,000 is the FAA administrator themselves. There's also a restriction of 200 knots below the Class B shelf, although that's rarely followed by turbojets, and it's really only a concern at midway. Yeah, it's just got a whole world of its own rules when it comes to aviation. There are countries in Europe where you don't have to obey the 250 knots at all. It's not a restriction. If you ask them, can we go more than 250 below 10,000 feet? I've had them get annoyed at me and say, why are you asking? It's not. We don't have that rule here. Jeff is 10 miles behind. Mach 0.91, say hello. Oh, there you are. Yep, well done. You're probably beating us then. We're not actually making 9.1, we're only making 8.9. A bit disappointed in that. I was hoping we'd do a bit better. We're just too heavy. What we can do though is start thinking about our arrival, because we do have a full flight plan. Now this is the bit of this FMS I find slightly more difficult.
Delta 2044, you're cleared direct to Shul, cross Shul at 3000, cleared ILS, runway 5 left.
Arrival, here we go.
direct shoot.
So we need to check, does Nashville have
Clear
a
island.
controller or a runway news?
5 left, Delta 2044.
No, it seems unlikely. So let's grab some weather for Nashville. I'll just grab the real world weather. Why not? So, Nashville is running with light easterly winds. Ooh. Oh, so it's pretty much across the runways. That's down on 20 left. 20 left. ILS. And let's get the chart right. Hello, iPad. I feel like I fly an iPad more than I fly
Washington Center, Sirius
airplanes.
November 17
All we
Zulu
ever do
Charlie.
is look and type into iPads, it feels like. But perhaps
November
that's a
172 Charlie,
novel
Watch
thing
Center.
where we're just constantly looking up airports and
Washington Center,
alternates and
Sirius
weathers.
November 17 Zulu Charlie, 5 miles to the
That doesn't
southwest
work.
of Kilo Mike Foxtrot
There we go.
Victor at 2,500.
Passenger for arrival.
En route direct to Kilo
And we are
Oscar
coming in
Romeo Foxtrot.
So Mango says, does the 777 land fast like the 787, or does it have similar approach speed to the Airbus? It's in between. It's faster than an Airbus.
19, Roger,
It's
1020
definitely slower than a
at 4,
787. It's got more flaps. It's got double stage Fowler flaps on the inner part of the wing, and in general the flaps are just
November
bigger.
17
so
Zulu Charlie, Washington
it
Center, Roger,
definitely lands
squawk
slower.
0057, Norfolk
777
altimeter 3026.
lands so nicely. It's such a nice airplane to land. I thought the 787 wasn't bad, but the 787 is actually not as nowhere near as pleasant as the 777. Right.
I have 0057 for the squawk code of Sirius November 17 Zulu Charlie. Can I please have the altimeter one more time?
November 17 Zulu Charlie, Norfolk altimeter
Great.
3026.
That's the 4.
3026 for the altimeter for Zulu Charlie, thank you.
And if we do the ILS, 20 left, what I wanted to find out.
Washington Center, Delta 2044 established, runway 5 left.
Delta 2044, thank you. Runway 5 left, cleared to land, wind variable at 4.
Where's he gone?
Runway 5 left,
Oh,
clear to
no.
land, Delta 2044.
Washington Center, Delta 1254, Kilo 340, Mach 0.75.
20
Delta
left. There we go. Goodness me.
1254, Washington
Yeah, we
Center,
have it.
Roger,
So we will
be
take
advised,
the
company
via
Delta 1256
Pasty
is also
4.
at frequency.
Groat.
Roger that.
Activate. And that
Delta
now.
1256, be advised, company 1254
Yeah,
is
look at
also at
that.
frequency.
It's so great.
Roger, 1256.
So great. If we scroll through,
Number 17 Zulu Charlie,
has
radar
restrictions,
contact,
so
10
Pasley,
miles northeast of
12,000
Cape Charles,
above,
communicate
below
2,500, proceed on course, maintain VFR.
let's check that.
We'll maintain
Below
VFR
200, above
proceed on course
12,000.
at 2,500 for
Carrot,
November
10,000 or
17
above.
Charlie.
Yeah.
Delta 1219, radar contact, stay altitude.
Body, 250 knots, 7,000 above, 12,000 below. Yep.
Delta
And
1219, radar climb, maintain, flight level
Finally,
190.
grabber, Waden, and these are the arrivals. Kramer. Landing on 20 left. Awesome. Let's bring up the approach chart. If I can find it again without such difficulty. I'll put the minimum in today. Our approach speeds are going to be pretty low. I think we're
Washington
very
Center,
happy
push
airplane,
on to
actually.
November
So we'll do
face,
751 for the
southeast.
ILS. Now, how do I type that in?
November, face southeast.
There we go. 751. So let's go for 760. I don't think that's an issue today. The cloud base today in Nashville scattered 27. So a very nice day indeed. Joshua E says Nashville always land on 02 or 20. I think I've seen them use 3113 ever. Perfect. So yeah. But once I might actually have the correct sort of runway. Oh, come on, airplane. You should be faster than this. We've gone too high for it. It's not happy because I've taken it out of its performance window. It's funny that we got such a big margin still. Yeah, 390 is what it wanted. Full performance mode. Oh, Kelly has very kindly super chatted $10 US. Thank you very much. Okay, it says European airspace is arguably the most difficult to plan in. The route availability document published by Eurocontrol sets the rules for airway airspace availability. Airspace changes constantly there. There you go. So yeah, there's a side of aviation I don't see. So thank you very much for the comment and for the very kind super chat. Thanks for supporting the channel. Really, really appreciate it. And yeah, it's a side of aviation that you just fall out of.
Golf Tango Romeo India Papa, go ahead.
As a pilot, because we just don't see it. The people who plan our flights are working to their own world, their own restrictions, but they don't. I just get given the plan. These days, they can update our plans a lot. It used to be that you have a printed flight plan and then that was what you were going to do. But now, as I kind of alludes to there, that it can change so much. So up to 2 hours before your flight, or even closer, it's very possible. Or even when you're sat in the airplane, that they might need to change your routing to avoid a sudden restriction. Let's say a piece of airspace has weather in it and they want less traffic suddenly, things like that. Yeah. But anyway, thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate it.
And DC Center, good day. Cactus 617 shortly entering your airspace inbound Gulfy through 15,000 for 350.
Thank you. Says, does the 777 feel noticeably different from a passenger comfort perspective? So the air is drier. It's just a fact. And, you know, Boeing spent a lot of money developing the 787 to be more comfortable. Whether that's just a side effect of using composites or not, I don't know. But anyway, it is drier. That is a fact, and you can notice it. You might need to use a bit more moisturiser on sitting on a 777 for a long time. It's a little bit noisier. It's certainly noisier at the front, but it's a much bigger cabin. The 777's big selling feature is it's the sheer size of that fuselage. And then it has massive great engines, so it can lift vast amounts of cargo as well as passengers and their bags. It can also take vast amounts of fuel, and it's rarely limited on its performance or its weights. It's just got so much spare room. And then when you're inside it, it's just huge. I cannot believe how big the fuselage is to sit in. It's remarkable. For the 380, of course, is bigger, and the 747 was. But I don't know whether the 747, in the single level section was any bigger. It's just amazing for a twin engine airplane like that. 78 is definitely a bit smaller, a bit narrower, not to its detriment, but it is noticeable when you sit in it. It looks smaller, whether that makes it more comfortable or not to you, I don't imagine many people care.
Taxi by November Juliet, cross runway 4.
Taxi 1 be November Juliet, cross runway 4.
Says, in the US we're super lucky with how open aviation is. We could fly a 1,000-mile flight without even having a radio. Yeah, it's a different world. It's so regulated in Europe. And there's also so much money in America that people can afford these airplanes, which is why why Cessna built this thing. Definitely I don't get that excited about how business jets look, but this is definitely one of my favourites. The only thing I don't like is the wingtips. I don't know why. To me, they don't look very fast. I'm sure they're very aerodynamic, but my criteria is pointy. It needs to be faster.
Washington Center, American 249 runway ground edge, Bradley.
Because says, I got to fly on a 787 in April, and I don't think I've ever come off an overnight feeling more normal in the morning. Yeah, and it's this.
Two guys that once they're calling for taxi.
It's the humidity, and it has a lower cabin altitude. It's two things at once there. So the higher you go, the drier the air. The cabin altitude can be, it might be 2,000 feet lower on the 787. Now there is a slight. There's a funny thing about that, which is, and this is getting very technical now. But so what? That's what this channel is, isn't it? We talk about the details of flying airplanes around.
Super 2 Lima Juliet, someone stepped on your reback just to make sure you heard it correctly.
The 777
Bravo, Tango,
doesn't get as
Hotel
high
Alpha.
as quickly as the 787 can, and that is a function of that wing. So you can see it here on this 750.
And
This
other
thing,
aircraft calling for taxi
we're
today, give me a call
overweight to be
sign
up
and
there, but the
airport
airplane can do it. It doesn't like it. It's a bit too heavy, and we're burning fuel and going not that
American
fast. But
2849 Washington
it's
Center, below, runway
it's that huge
5
wing.
left.
You can see it.
Taxi
And this
via
gives it
Foxtrot
the option to
Bravo
come up
1,
here. And the
give way
787
to
has a
Delta
very similar,
A320
very
off your
swept,
right,
very
exit
big
entering
wing
the
for its
ramp on
size, in particular the
1003.
Dash 8, but also the Dash 9 and even the Dash 10.
Foxtrot
The
Bravo
777 wing is older. It's an older design, so it's not quite as slick as that. But it's also, as a ratio of weight and fuselage size to wing area, the wingspan of the 787 and the 777 is basically the same. But the 777 is a heavier, bigger airplane in almost every dimension.
3000, control flight distance 17.
So, for example, the 777-200, the short one, is longer than a 787-9, just as an example.
Delta 15,
So-
I'm sorry, Delta 1256, cross reset and maintain flight level 2.
What can happen is the 777 doesn't actually climb as high as early in the flight. When the airplane doesn't climb as high, the cabin altitude doesn't have to go as high. So although if you're both at 39,
246, leaving my airspace, radar service is terminated, change to advisory frequency approved.
thank you. Change to advisory. Manta 246. Bye.
Golf Tango Romeo India Papa,
I guess
leaving my
that means
airspace, radar service
1228.
terminated, change to advisory
Much
frequency
easier. I
approved.
love this tuning system.
Yeah, Roger.
Oh, way easier. We must fly the 78 on the channel again because it's so pleasant to use on that sim because of that. Yeah, so the point is, if you have a 787 and a 777, both at flight level 390, the cabin altitude of the 787 will be lower. It will also have more humidity in it because the airplane can handle that with the composite. Now, what my point is that the 777 probably wouldn't be at flight level 390 as early in the flight. It would probably start at 360 or maybe even lower if you're going on a really long flight, 33, 34, 35. Therefore, the cabin altitude may be not much above the 787's cabin altitude at the start of the flight. But by the end of the flight, you know, when they're both up at their higher levels, then yes, the 787 will have a lower cabin altitude. But either way, it will be more humid. Anyway, enough about that. Just going around in circles there in my own head. AJKN says, unpopular opinion for this channel, I suspect A350 greater than 787, hands down. Sorry, from an Airbus sycophant. So I need some explanation. Why? What makes the A350 so much better? Joshua E says, I work in aviation insurance in the US and the amount of private GA aircraft out there is insane. Seeing where people make their money is always eye-opening. I work on anything from a 172 to a G700. Wow, yeah. Yeah, it is. It's amazing. When I go to airports and I see just rows and rows of private jets, you just wonder, you know, how do people get into these positions to have these? What do they do? He says US aviation insurance premiums of 2.55 billion makes up 40% of worldwide premium. Yeah, no surprise there. It's just a thing. The other thing, I suppose, is if you're wealthy and you're in America, to get anywhere you need it. You know, to travel to a different city, I say you need it. If you had the money and you think your time is that important, then you'd get yourself a jet, wouldn't you? Cities are far apart. There's not like you're going to get a high-speed train very easily, and you're unlikely to drive it. Joshua E says, lucky day, Memphis Center and Nashville approach are online. Fantastic. That's good. We're on Unicom? We are on Unicom. That's excellent. So I go, how well behaved is this plane during landing? So, I think this airplane's very good on landing. The one thing it does do is it does stand up on its gear a little bit, and if there's any crosswind, it gets under the wing, and you can find yourself tipping, so you need to put a bit of interwind aileron. Seems to be very sensitive to that. AJKN says, I can never discern. AJKN previously said that they prefer the 350 over the 787. So, AJKN says, I can never discern the difference between the air on the 350 and the 787. They're both heads and shoulders above the rest. Perhaps it's a throwback to my childhood crossing the pond, but I love winglets. Yeah, so the 350 I think does have a lower cabin altitude as well. Similar, I think, to the 380. Maybe not the 380. But anyway, it does have a lower cabin altitude. So I can understand that. The winglets are nice on the 350. The 787 does have winglets, but it's more of a blended wing style, so you just can't see them. They look like they're part of the wing, but I believe they are not generating lift. So that seems to be Boeing's strategy for long-range aeroplanes. You see it, of course, with their 777X coming out, where they've gone to all the effort of making the wings fold up into these nice winglets, and then they want to put them down for the flight, so they have them fold out on the runway. There's a couple of nice GoPro views you can import for these chase planes. Is it really saying? Ah, that's... Yeah, so chase plane has some great share features as well. Yeah, you can download them, yeah. I need to update it. I probably won't fiddle with it until I updated it. But yeah. Yeah, it's such a great add-on. I absolutely love chase plane. Because this one, most airplanes have quite a few views built into it. This list is, you've got to have a full list of like different cockpit views and views out the window and so on. Unfortunately, this one doesn't. We can enjoy the speed of it though, look at that. Top of descent marker coming up, and that's why this airplane it's very straightforward to fly. It's got all the levels in. We're going to descend in VNAV and I'll just let it do its thing. Nose down, pretty good. But yeah, I think our next stream we'll either do we need to do the Phoenix, and then we'll of course need to do the we'll go up in the 777 and have a real discussion about what the 777 is. Spoiler alert though, I like it. Lauren B says the curved up winglet is entirely about gate space. The rate wingtip is significantly more efficient, hence why the Embraer E2 has it, but there is barely more width available at a regular A320 gate. So, yeah. It's beyond my pay grade, I'm afraid. Yeah, I just don't know. I know Boeing have gone for the sort of the raked wingtip, which is what the 787 has, that outer part of the wing past the ailerons. It doesn't actually produce lift, it's just sort of blocking the vortices from spreading the flow spreading to the top of the wing to reduce the wingtip vortices, reduce the drag. It's funny to me, of course, that aircraft like the 757 that had flat wings, then they added the wing tips to them for efficiency, and then now of course we're back to the flat wings. But it is not the same. That outer part of the wing is designed very specifically to do what it does. Whereas Airbus seem all in on the whole sharklet idea. They've kept them on the 350. The 380 almost got re-engineered with them, didn't it? Because they only put the old style ones in it initially. So yeah. I mean, why would a C750 like this have a wingtip issue at gate? Is this for gate space? Is there a standard private jet size that you want your private jet to be so you can take it to your local airfield? Maybe that's it. Yeah. Airbus also upgraded the A350 winglet. It's taller now. Yes, they did, didn't they? Yeah. Yeah, This is for the mysteries of aerodynamics, wind tunnel experts, and people who are paid a lot of money to figure this stuff out. Because it's all about shockwaves and all sorts. There's so much going on. Because of course, look at what not that one. Look at what Boeing have done with the 737 MAX, and they had those split scimitar winglets. They just went all over the place with what they wanted to fit to 737s to make them more efficient. I wonder if we could go a bit faster if we were lower down. Anyway, we're on Unicom. Let's take this up. Let's go up. Let's see if we can get it up to the maximum while we're here. So, ceiling for all variants of this aircraft is 51,000 feet. So let's go. We might be too heavy, sadly. 51, that's the maximum that will let me set. Right, we'll change. Oh, it might get there pretty quickly. We'll probably have to go even slower. I think it's just running out of thrust now. But the wing has got plenty of space, it looks like. Anyway, he's going to really raise the nose too much, though. That's amazing how quickly the speed is willing to wash off. Jackman says, winglets on the C750 were originally an add-on, so the situation with the C750 is close to the 320, where adding them in it's better than nothing. There we go, interesting. So that's why they did it. Oh! We got traffic behind us, haven't we? Ah, we've got space. I'm at 246, copy. We see traffic behind us on TCAS. 49. Gonna do any more? Is that what we're gonna get out of it? We need to just climb thrust, that will help. Let's go to takeoff thrust. We can run that for a few minutes. 2,000 feet to go. But look how slow we're having to go. Dougal says, should reach 925 at 510. Okay, let's see what happens. Could be concerned about hangar size as well. I imagine that's more of a concern for BizJet. Lauren V says, yes, that's a good point. It could be that they're worried about which hangar it's going to fit in. Now, does anyone know? I can see the look at that. I can see the fans running because I did turn those on. Now, are these de-icing? Do these put bleed air over the windscreen so it's not electrically de-iced? Is this what this is for? I'm not entirely familiar with that system. I've not seen it. It's quite a prominent feature though, because we have it here. You're meant to put it in on for the descent. Oh, look at windshield air. Oh, I don't know. I just don't know. This is why pilots do type ratings, so they don't ask silly questions. No such thing in aviation. No such thing. Come on, we can hit 50. Basically going backwards, but we can hit 50,000 feet. It's for rain. Oh, of course. There's no wipers, so it's going to be rain repellent. Auto ATC. Indy Center advises descend and maintain 230, no separation service ready. So hold on, is this? Am I talking to a person here, or who am I talking to? Should I use auto ATC? I should rely on it. Oh, it is for rain, but it's air for the rain. I see. Thanks, Dougal. Very interesting. I've not seen that before. Well, that's it. It's our new record. Not quite in space, but we are well above the weather at 50,000 feet. Wipers are useless anyway, says Tamango. Wipers can be annoying. Their problem is that they immediately become useless when the windscreen dries up. However, they do have their moments when you break out a cloud and you just can't see the runway and you really want to. It will be the thing that makes a difference sometimes. I know how we're going to fix this. We're in flightable change. Oh, the co-pilot's trying to get in. Hold on. Okay, she's not actually interested in helping. Right, if I put this into manual mode... We're in space. Yeah, we are in space. That's it. This used to be space, didn't it? It wants 230 by the border. Okay, so we should obey it. I might have to give up on this. I'm just going to rocket up. Here she comes. 51,000, we've made it. Hello. You are going to help us. There's 51,000, and now we've gone all of our routing, haven't we? Which isn't even showing up anymore. Oh, there's our top of descent. So once 230 by the border, but that's quite a way away. Okay, the first officer is now being actively disruptive to the flight. Is that alright? Point made. And she's left. Okay. Yeah, it does seem to be pretty early. Where is the border for us here? Again, another piece of aviation that we just don't see. As pilots is the borders. We will look, obviously, in particular oceanic, trying to make sure we're in the right bit of airspace with the right frequency. Minus 59 up there. Not that cold. We're well above the tropopause up here. And that's not going to show me anything. AJ Ken, thanks so much for the $4.99 super chat. AJ Ken, really appreciate it. They say, after seeing this on stream, I need a C750 in my flight sim hangar. I'm blaming you when my girlfriend asks why I need another DLC. I can only apologise. And what's funny is, you're not the only one. This airplane seemed to be irresistible to a lot of people who watched the video on it. I can only apologise. I know the feeling. This one just. I'm not big on my business jets. We don't fly many on the channel, but this one is this. I was hopeful because I flew the Piaggio P180 from FlightFX because I was such a big fan of that aeroplane, and then I loved it, and I thought, oh, I wonder if they've pulled off the same magic for this one. And the answer is they have. I wish it was faster, but they have. Let's not burn out our engines too much. I'll put them back to climb. I think climb's okay. But yeah, as Dougal says, at this price, you're not gonna regret it. You can do a lot of fun things with this. You can treat it like an airliner. It looks like an airliner, but it's unique. And it's look at these screens. Look at the curve on the screens and things, and the sort of the slightly this CRT pixelated display. I absolutely love it. It's just great. Now it does seem to have updated our cruise level. So if I type in. We made it. I'm impressed we made it. Like I say, we are going backwards, but we did make it. Type it in. There we go. So it only wants 86 up here. Oh, we're not even close to that. We'll have a very fast descent. Let's get ready for the descent. So descent phase. It wants to do it at 300 knots. Mach 0.8. Nah, it's not that fast. It's hoping a bit faster. There we go. 3-degree angle. About normal. Landing. Page, yes, we can. It should bring us the wind. This is the present position. I was hoping it would show us the stuff on the ground for Nashville. I'm pretty sure it did once when I did a flight. Oh dear. Right, temperature on the ground in Nashville. Is it pretty warm? Nah, it's not that warm. 27 degrees Celsius, 80 Fahrenheit. They have an altimeter of 3021. I don't know what the pressure altitude is, do I? Anyway, again, it's higher, so that'd be better, despite the temperature. Wind on the ground, 120 at 6. There we go, next. That's the runway. It is dry. There's a density altitude. We'll do flaps 35. Good, and here it even shows you a little bit of a tailwind. I absolutely love it. And there's the speeds, which will show up on here as we slow down. Our colleagues are standing behind us. Lauren B says, India is supposed to give traffic into CLE AOB 230 descending to 17k in the LOA. I interpret this as just issue descend by, except maintain 17k, and I imagine the wording is similar here. Okay. Let me reread the message. It sounds like I can't just ignore it. Auto ADC says, India Centre advises descend and maintain flight with 230, no separation services provided. So let's put 230 in the window. We're coming up on top of descent. 230. Almost there. Yeah, of course, it's going to jump past the second you get close to the level you want. Oh my goodness me. There we go. 230. We're in V out. Path is armed. So this is where this airplane's great, and they've done such a good job on the navigation. So path is going to go into VNAV path for the descent. Just like this is just a Boeing. Think of it as a Boeing. And we're in V out. So it's going to start its descent as we hit that point and carry on down here. It does have the appropriate restrictions in. If I go to our charts, we need to get the right restrictions. Loremy says, check the star. Grote is just before the border and has a 230 constraint. So that would make sense with that level. So I think if we just fly the level as per the star, if I can just get the chart to load. Please load. You've been so good so far. There we go. Grote below 230. Let's just check our routing. Flight plan. Grote below 230. So it's all in and down we go. Now in America, well, they'd actually, at some point soon, they would say descend via. And they wouldn't, in Europe, if you were told to descend via, they would still give you an altitude to go down to, typically, unless they clear you for the rest of the approach or the transition. But in America, they just say descend via. They don't want to know. They want you to fly this. This is what you planned for. This is what they expect you to do. They'll vector everything else around you, or everything will be planned around you already. 230, and down you go. Another thing I like about American air traffic controlling is the weather avoidance. In America, they know where the weather is. They see it on their radar. They'll even tell you where they think the gaps are, although it's still up to you to make sure you know it. And then not that you believe them, but that it's a suitable gap for you and your aeroplane and your flight level. But yeah, they will tell you in advance. They'll say, I can see precipitation. It's at this range. Blah, blah, blah. Let me know if you need a heading. Or they might put you on headings around it. I've had that where they just reroute everyone. Go direct to this waypoint. It's fantastic. It relieves so much workload. I think it's because they're used to big bands of bad weather in America. You do get much worse weather. In Europe, you do get isolated thunderstorms, but they tend to fizzle out or be separated, although occasionally you do just get a wall of storms, but very rare. In America, they just get massive areas of huge thunderstorms because it's so much further south. You're so much nearer the equator, so they can grow so much taller. So, like, if you're in some of the southern states, like Atlanta and places, and Nashville can have tornado warnings and huge thunderstorms. Then Houston, that's another one. Then you're going to have to go around it by quite a long way. And air traffic, it's helpful for them to know what people are going to want to do. But yeah, in Europe they'd say nothing. They'd leave you alone until you tell them I need to go somewhere. I think as well it's helped by America having larger airspace chunks. In Europe, you're flying between so many countries, so that you have to coordinate between each other. So I think that's why they don't interfere like that. Marco says, I'm yet to see an altitude first try in the X. I'm only able to get it to scroll quickly exactly when I don't want it to. Yes, that's exactly what I just had. There we go. VNAV path. Outset is now armed at flight level 230. Now, manual throttle system. I'm hoping it's planning this based on... Oh, there you go. It's gone to sync once you ring the power back. Ah, so when you go to max thrust, it removes the sync on its own. Interesting. So I'm just going to wind the throttles back gently. I don't want to damage the engines. They've been running at max chat, as some people would say, this whole time. So I'll gently bring them back, because you could lock them up. It has happened. If you do anything daft, like run them at full throttle. Alright, there's idle. There's Yoki. Grote 230 below. Can I see the restrictions on here? No. Oh, that's how you do the clocks. Love it. Okay. Seems fine. Seems to be gliding nicely. Seems happy like this, doesn't it? RB says the Midwest gets the worst thunderstorm bands. Minneapolis and Memphis centers get some of the worst of the bands. There you go. Interesting. Jamie K says, hi, just got here. Are you going to do a long haul 787 stream soon? I'd like to, yeah. I want to fly the 777. That's probably going to be the next one, or the Phoenix. But we will also fly the 787. Joshua E says, cold front in the southeast right now. Typically this time of year it will be 30 to 36 degrees with heavy humidity. It's been brutal down here, so nice for some relief. Yes, it does seem much cooler than I was expecting. And I have been in America fairly recently, and it was no way near. It was almost cold, which I couldn't believe, because the last time I was there, couple of weeks earlier, it was overwhelmingly hot. So this is looking good. It's stabilized on the path and the speed's settled back down about where we thought it should. So that's a well-calculated descent by the airplane. What I haven't done is load in any winds. I didn't see the option. I don't know where... I don't know where it would go on this airplane. I mean, I haven't loaded in any winds of any variety anywhere, except for the runway. But it seems to be doing a good job regardless. Tamango says, we have auto throttle, it's called the FO. Crash Ed says, there were some huge thunderstorms in Nashville the other week. Yeah, I bet there were. I bet there were. There we go. This is what's going to happen. As soon as you get a little bit slow, nose will raise. This will happen because we have a headwind, and I didn't tell it the winds. So we're actually descending a bit. We're not covering as much ground as it thought we would, so we're going to get low on the profile because we're being pushed backwards, basically. So I'm just going to trickle on a bit of power and just let it sit a little bit fast because I don't want to slow down and stop, especially with our traffic. Is our traffic still behind us? Not sure. They could be quite a different level. Now, how's our cabin pressurization? It is descending. There's some hope that this is going to work. Good. Okay. There we go. We'll leave that power trickling on. Lauren V says the arrival, talking about the standard terminal arrival here, which this is a very typical arrival for an airfield in America, just like that departure out of Newark with just a heading, although the Newark one does have a turn in it unusually, but that's to get you away from the rest of the New York airfields. But the arrival is intended to put you into the relevant sectors, and the sectorization is designed to keep traffic specialized and separated, which makes sense. So this is a corridor of arriving aircraft into Nashville from the east, you know, and the controllers will know that, and it's good. It's a good system. Instead of getting endlessly vectored around, you'll just be left on this nearly always, and that works into loads of US airfields, you know, whether it's the west coast or the east coast or whatever. They'll tend to just leave you on these arrivals descending. So about now, they'd say descend via the Pasley 4, and then they might tell you the runway, probably not yet at 40,000 feet, but yeah, and then you need to choose the altitude you want to put in the window. Also, when are you going to set the QNH? That's the other thing. So we're coming in and we're doing... Oh, let's check we have the right routing here. Hold on. Dang. Body. Mud. Judd. Oh. Mud. Ah, and then just vectored out here. Good. Landing for 20 left. So yeah, so that's fine. So 6,000 feet, that's the lowest altitude we have on this arrival. We're not cleared for the actual approach or anything like that, so we can't go lower. So 6,000 feet is where they would expect us to go, but I'm not going to set that until I can be sure we're going to meet that 200 or below at Pasley. That's the last restriction where I need to be on standard still. Joshua E says, Nashville actually had a tornado take out a few hangars like 5 years ago, total millions. I can't believe that. That's it's madness. I mean, it makes sense it could happen. There's basically no procedures for a tornado because it's. I think it just works on the basis that you don't fly under a thunderstorm. It's how you avoid tornadoes, isn't it? But what can you do if you're taxiing out and then a storm appears and then a tornado comes out of it? And they do come out with not much time, little warning, don't they? Goodness me. Right. Done. Descent checklist. So we need to put left and right hand windshield anti-ice both go to on. So I think that's this. On. No ICAS message, so it seems to be normal. Side window vent knobs closed. I wonder why. How funny. Airplanes all have their own little quirks, don't they? Goodbye. Window vents closed. Yep, I didn't figure out to open those. Pressurization checked. Now it says set landing elevation. So do I need to actually set that on here? I don't think so. Surely not. It seems to be going down on its own. Ooh, I don't know. I don't know. No, you can't. You can't even set landing elevation. So definitely not. Right, let's leave that alone. Stop messing around. Not sure where we set that. Anti-ice not required. APU not required. Exterior lights, yeah, we'll put those on. And we need to set the QNH. Next is the approach checklist. Landing data we've done. Crew briefing complete. Avionics set. Minimum set. Fuel crossfeed is off. We didn't need it. Fuel is actually, how balanced is it? Yeah, very balanced. Still got enough. Lights, flaps, brief, seatbelts, passenger advisory. Ignition, norm. Yep, it's in norm. It has been all flights. Pressurization, 0 differential touchdown. Engine sync knob, so we'll turn that off. Let's just turn that off now. Now in the descent. It's taking quite a lot of power. I was sort of hoping to come screaming in. Idle thrust, 330 knots. There we go. So Mango says, how often do you deadhead? So deadheading trip when you're just positioning around, you know, you're not operating on the flight, you just get to sit in the back, is a luxury, and you need to be pretty in an airline a long time to be able to choose those trips because they're obviously very nice for obvious reasons. I will say sometimes if you want to sleep, operating can be better, because if you have the operating crew rest area, that's sometimes the quietest and most comfortable place in the airplane to try and sleep. Dougal says, I still get caught out on US VATSIM being asked what gate I want. Too used to gates being allocated. Indeed. I don't understand why America has that system, but that's what they've just run with it, haven't they? So in Europe, you'll be told to go park here or there by air traffic control. In America, they will just expect you to know, and they'll get quite annoyed at you across if you come on the frequency and can't immediately tell them. Yeah, you come onto ground frequency in JFK and you don't know where you're parking. Woof. Good luck with that. RB says Omaha also had tornado damage at the airfield a few years ago. Goodness me. I didn't know it was that common. I assumed it just almost never ever hit sort of built up things, or certainly airfields. Like, what are the chances? There's our colleague behind us, 7-4. Playing the restrictions a bit more than us. Or that message anyway. So KBNA has an ATIS. Let's grab that. Info. Echo as well. What are the chances? That's what we left Newark. They're going to be landing on a different runway. Ah, that's 2 to the right, 2 to the left. There we go. So that's. I hope we get 2 to the left. At 1206. That's fine. That's what we expected. 27 degrees. 3021. Awesome. I'm just going to keep the power up. Why not? This will all happen quite quickly now. So one thing, you sort of, at this stage in the flight, you think, oh, we're still up at 20,000 feet, there's loads of time. But actually what happens is it all starts to get very rapid. I love this as well. This vertical situation display is so great on this airplane because it shows you the level. It's actually better than the one on the 787. It shows you the level, 230, and then it shows you all the restrictions. Look at that. So that's below 230. That's now that's back to front. That's a bit weird. Below flight over 200, above 12,000. That's above 10,000. That one makes more sense. But anyway, let's speed up a bit. Still got enough fuel to do it? We certainly do. Certainly do. Members will talk soon. Coming from the east, I'll give you 20 left. It's just really excellent. I hope so. As a backup, let's just have a look. So we have seen it at least. In case they give us 20 right. 20 right. Nothing shocking there. There's no water break. They're decent sized runways at Nashville. Slightly high minimum. Cool. There's our 230. We need to speak to Memphis, who've just contacted us. 13255.
We're level flight with 230 inbound correct.
Golf Tango
Now we need to get
Romeo
cleared
India
for further
Papa
here.
the center ident.
So hopefully they'll clear us to descend via the Pasley 4.
Stand by.
Manual thrust.
FedEx 541 Heavy, turn right heading 330, intercept the 36 right localizer.
Right 10 330, intercept the localizer.
No,
FedEx
I might let
541.
the speed trickle back because we're getting high here. Centre, good day, Manta 246, flight level 230, Grote.
Manta 246, Memphis center radar contact, just now supported local.
Sorry, say again for Manta 246.
Manta 246, Memphis center radar contact, descend via the Paisley for arrival. Nashville is landing south, and the Nashville altimeter 3020.
Thanks very much. Descend via Paisley 4, arrival landing south at Nashville. Altimeter 3020, Manta 246. Thanks. As expected.
Tango Romeo India Papa, Memphis center your radar contact.
We agreed earlier, didn't we? 6,000.
Paisley 4 arrival, Nashville landing south.
Oh,
Nashville altimeter
please,
3020.
please. There we go. Right, and now we're in VNAV. I'm going to press flight level change.
Nashville landing south, 3020.
Now we will come to idle.
FedEx 451,
And I wanna wind the speed
80
up.
miles from McGee, maintain 3,000 until established in the localizer.
Can I do that manually?
36 right
No.
approach.
How do I do that manually? How do I get out of VNAV? Oh, if I disarm VNAV, there we go. Flight level change. And now I can dive it down. And we'll make that by doing this at 330 knots. So next restriction below 200 at Pasley.
FedEx 541, you're 7 miles from McGee, maintain 3,000 until established. Cleared
That's the last flight level.
36 right approach.
I mean, let's be sensible. We're definitely making that. So now let's set
Maintain
3020.
3,000 until established. 36 right, FedEx 541.
Okay, there's through 330. It has overshot that by quite a bit. There's our VNAV path coming back in. Let's arm the VNAV. VNAV flitch, VNAV path, outsell. And 6,000 is the lowest we should get to.
FedEx 541, heavy contact Memphis Tower.
We do have a speed limit 250 knots, so that's going to be on us. to make that.
9.7 FedEx 541.
It says a few weeks
United
ago,
604,
one of the cities in
maintain
northern
flight
Minnesota,
level
western, got hit
330.
with this massive storm, flew over a week later, and half the buildings were down. I can't believe it. But there are a lot of wooden buildings. Residential buildings in America are often made of wood, aren't they?
United 604.
Right, let's keep the speed up. That's the other thing in America. They almost,
United 604.
they rarely slow you down. They often want you to be as fast as possible, right down to landing. Often with some really remarkable speed restrictions, which makes me laugh. Some of them are just they're just so crazy compared to what we see in Europe. But they don't tend to be as strict on them, if that makes sense. They don't space you as close as some airports in Europe. So if you're a few knots out,
contact national approach on
Not such an issue.
119.35. Good day.
119.35, Manta 246. Thanks, mate. They also abbreviate call signs in a different way, so they'll say that.
United 604, leave my
Manta-
airspace Atlanta Center.
Manta 246.
Radar service terminated. Frequency change.
But
Good day.
this controller just called us Manta 246. And I had no way of accurately guessing how they want to do it. It wouldn't have surprised me if they said Manta 246. You know, there's just a million ways they can do that. What have I done there? How did I do that? That's disappointing. That is very disappointing indeed. Oh, no. What did I do there? Okay, I'm going to figure that one out. Let's slow down. 11935. We are on.
Region 4748, ready in sequence.
Region
Gonna
47.
adjust this again. How did I do that? Nashville approach, g'day, Manta 246. Descending via Pasley for C750. We've got Echo, altimeter 3020.
Manta 246, Nashville approach, altimeter is correct, mission Foxtrot's now current to expect the ILS, runway 20 left.
Expect ILS 20 left, we'll get Foxtrot Manta 246. Right, back there. I mean, not having much luck with the camera today.
Agent 4748, runway 20 centre, line up and wait, so will be a short delay for spacing.
Also, by the way, this shows us nicely 10,000 feet. No, there's something, I've messed up something with my camera here, the way it's doing that. What did I press? What did I do? Yeah, the way it says 10,000, it's showing me that it's going to level off there. So 250 knots, it's done that as part of the VNAV profile, which is great, so manual thrusts. Now it's going to, now it has the next restriction is 7,000, so that's in. It's great. Honestly, the VNAV system on this airplane, so good. And if you use the auto throttle, even easier.
Legion 89 and 92, radar contact.
Google says I recently got cleared to land number 3, not use that in Europe. Yeah, they'll do that all the time in America. I'm not so convinced about that system. It does free up capacity for the controller, and I guess it's fine. I wouldn't want them to do it in, you know, certain weather conditions. I don't know if they have a weather limit for when they can say that, actually. Because they'll clear you to land with 2 aircraft in front of you, but so will Paris Charles de Gaulle, for example. So it's not unheard of in Europe, it's just very rare. Lauren B says, New York is the exception. They slow you down more often than not. Chicago really likes to push them in and their volume is extremely high. Their arrival rate is the highest in the country. Interesting, yeah. I don't remember Chicago being too bad. JFK is... The approach in JFK is an intense process. Anyway, going back to 250 knots. We're going to be off on a vector. We're descending to 6,000 via our arrival. Let's bring up the arrival so we don't get in trouble here. So... 250 knots, 6,000 feet. That's fine, as long as we know the speed we're aiming for. The other great thing is this airplane will tune the ILS. It's so good. It's worth us having it ready. Expecting 20.
Legion 4748, wind 090 at 4, runway 20 centre, clear to take off.
Course 201.
Clear to take off, 20 centre, Legion 4748.
I think it would do it automatically. We'll find out.
National Flight Kilo Golf Tango Romeo. Copy with you.
Never 24/6. So some American controllers will go Manta 246, and some will say Manta 246, and it just seems to be completely random. Yeah. Lights on, yes, through 10,000 feet, let's get those lights on. We are descending into the clouds, it's going to be a bit bumpy as well. They're not on the overhead panel, we'll also have it there. Landing lights on. I left all the recognition lights on. Passengers can sit down, please.
Legions 89 and 92, contact Memphis Center 132.55.
Memphis 32.
So we've done that and we're on the QNH next to full landing.
Good.
So this is going to send us off that arrival on a vector. Absolutely fine. Oh, there you go. ISSX 10935. Nav 1. It's tuned it. So that's funny. Oh, yes, it's done it automatically. There you go. It's all in. Brilliant.
Legion 4748, radar contact. Say altitude leaving.
I think I'll do 2,000 feet, Legion 4748.
Legion 4748, thanks. Climb and maintain 15,000.
I maintain 15,000, the Legion 4748.
Love the flight deck on this as well. Look at that texture up there. It's such an important bit to get right on any add-on. the glare shield texture. Right, 1,000 feet to go now. We're going to level off 250 knots, 6,000. This is very, very green.
Manta 246, descend maintain 3,000.
Descend maintain 3,000, Manta 246. 3,000. So, time
4748, clear to Chippy.
So we've been cleared to descend to 3,000. The airplane is going to level off at 6. Let's put that in magenta. So we're going to get rid of VNAV. I'm going to just put it into vertical speed now. In America as well, it's something they don't really do very nicely. They don't like continuous descents much. So they would get annoyed if you start shadowing out your descent and doing 500 feet per minute. They don't expect it. They want you to just get down to the level. So that's what we'll do. we can afford a C750. I think we can afford the fuel today. I will, however, carry on with the vector. Just make sure we get it right. 270. Heading sync. And I'll just keep descending now. In terms of terrain, we are going below the MSA, but we're going to be very visual as we do it. 3,100. Also, the controller may well be able to vector us down here. That PFD is getting a little bit bright. Just do it down a bit. There we go.
Legion 4748, contact Memphis Center 132.55, so long.
And that's a little zoomed
132,
out.
decimal 550.
But we'll survive.
Legion 4748, good day.
I think it's a little bit high as well. Let's fiddle it again. Irresistible. Pilots are constantly adjusting their seat position. I can tell you that as well. Put that there. I think that's fine. So you'll hear every approach. You'll hear the sort of the whirs of the electric motors of the seats over and over again. That's true on the Airbus. That's true on the Boeings. So we're on the altimeter. We can shadow that out a bit now. Let's just do 1,000 feet per minute. We're on the altimeter. That's sensible. The radio altimeter will come alive. We are below the MSA, but we are
Golf
visual.
India Papa, descend and maintain 3,000.
We're getting cut in
Maintain
closer
3,000,
than expected here, so we're not going out to Reaba. Now let's start up the replay software before I forget that. Out of interest, any noticeable difference in the quality of the visuals on this stream? I'm at a higher bit rate. I'm just going to start slowing down now because we are coming up to the intercept.
Manta 246, you're 6 miles from Cramer. Turn left, heading 230, maintain 3,000 to establish cleared ILS. Runway 20 left, maintain 180 knots or greater until Judd.
Thank you, Manta 246. We're going to turn left, heading 230. Clear for the ILS 20 left, 180 to Judd. Okay.
American 1907, Nashville departure, good after
230,
information
heading.
Tango 4 ready to taxi runway 20
Winding the range.
1907 Nashville, good afternoon, runway 20 center.
Arm the approach.
Tango 4, Sierra 7.
There it is, localizes arms. We can come all the way back to 180, but I'm doing 250. That's fine, bit more power, Okay. Instead of maintain means do it now, so it's not a bit, yeah, exactly. So we clipped the approach, so we got the localizer and we got the glide slope arms, and we're level at 3,000 feet. So
Golf India Papa, turn right, heading 290.
so good, look at that. It's automatically swapped over to the radio navgates for the ILS. It's just so easy. Such a great aeroplane, this. 210 knots. Now we're quite a way out. There's our V approach, by the way. VREF's going to be 127 V at. I see the glide slope coming in as well. There's the runway. Let's go for our first stage of flat. Going down glide slopes, that's just the slats. Going down glide slopes clean is not usually a great plan. These are the limiting speeds, by the way, not the minimum speeds, is my understanding. The 200 knots, he wants 180 as an absolute minimum down to Judd, which is coming up there. So that's probably pretty fast. Judd is 6 miles out. Often America as well, the DMEs don't match. I don't know why they do that. Yeah, look at that, it's 1.6. So Judd is 6 miles, it's actually closer to 4 miles out. So they want 180 to the best part of 4 miles. It's not possible in a 787, but we might manage it today.
Golf India Papa, you are 7 miles.
Going actually is 3,000 feet, so I'll leave that in the window, and we'll come back to 180. Let's get some more drag flap out, go to flaps 5.
20 left approach.
Left 230, clear for the localizer approach runway 20.
Trader Chicomo says, not bad for 22 grid. No, it's not bad at all. Like I say, I love these CRT screens.
Manta 246, wind 090 at 4, runway 20 left, cleared to land.
Good land, 20 left, Manta 246. Right, get down, it's 1,600 feet. We've made 180 to Judd. We can go flat 15.
1907, wind 090 at 4, runway 20.
I think we might be able to do this here today.
20 center, takeoff, American 1907.
It slows down so well. And we can go to flat 35. Just give it a second longer. Flat 35. But yeah, good luck doing that in a 7.8. Not happening. Jackman says DMEs don't usually match here because it's on the opposite end of the runway. Yeah, I know. But in you know, there's lots of airports around the world where they do manage. I don't know why it's so common. And it's usually about 1.6 miles. I assume because it's in the middle of the runway, so it's for both ends. I guess that's the point. Right, get the power on. Don't let it get slow. It needs a fair old, still 50% odd power on final. Maybe the 40s actually. Landing, speed brakes, retracted. We have to deploy those ourselves. ICAS at airspeed, autopilot. That's all off. We're clear to land. Landing checks complete. Let's just try and stabilise the power. Or maybe low 40s. Pretty good actually. Up comes the nose. We know the glide slopes are a little bit wibbly wobbly in Flight Simulator. Yeah, this is very slow approach speed. Look at that, 133. Not sure what this is. This sort of yellow thing going up and down. Oh, I guess it was minimums. Must be based on the rad out. Did I get? Oh, I've done it on rad out. That's why. Yeah, 760 rad out. Right, autopilot off.
Golf India Papa, Roger, runway 20 left, clear to land, number 2, traffic, short final.
So we need to deploy the speed brakes, otherwise this plane just sort of bounces back up into the air.
American 1907, radar contact, say altitude leaving.
American 1907, 1,900 climbing 4,000.
So on speed, getting a little bit low.
American 1907, Roger.
Flying it out the window though. Yeah, the glide slope just goes wonky there. It always does that. So that's got us high. Keep it coming down. Good on speeds. Now let's not float all the way to the end just because we're in a small plane. There's touchdown. Speed brakes out.
1907, cleared direct, Big Daddy.
Big Daddy, American 1907.
The reverse is to idle.
I know.
Oh, as soon as that nose gear touches down, that grip. Now we missed the exit. That's embarrassing. In a private jet, I bet they'd be surprised. So we'll take the next one. Let's let it roll. And we'll vacate right here. Ha! That's hilarious. By the way, you can hear the grooves on the runway with this aeroplane. It's amazing sound design on this add-on as well. I must say, full disclosure, if you've watched the stream and you're hearing me praise it, this was sent to me by FlightFX. I would have purchased it myself because I purchased their Piaggio P180, but I got this sent at release actually, which is yeah, just when I got it. And these are all my own opinions. They haven't told me anything I need to say about it, but I must tell you that yeah, they did send it to me. I did say that in my video about it as well. Right, vacating. Speed rate's in. We would bring the flaps up, but I'm not going to bother because we're going to obviously do our replay. Welcome to Nashville. Well, I really enjoyed that. I'm glad we took this plane for a flight again. We will look at the replay in just a moment. We'll see how high I got. So it's brilliant. It's just that glide slope went up. I reacted to that instead of I should have just kept looking out the window at the Pappies. And then we crossed the threshold. Far too high.
Are you parking at Signature?
Yes, please. Manta 246.
Manta 246. To Signature then via Romeo Lima 7, Kilo Uniform 5, and cross runway 31.
Thank you to Signature by Romeo Lima 7, and then Kilo Uniform 5, cross runway 31, Manta 246. Thank you. Okay, this controller knew I didn't know where I was going. So, I think we get to go over a bridge here in Nashville. Romeo Charlie 7. So Romeo is this first bridge. No idea where Charlie 7 is. We'll work that out in just a moment. Yeah, I think the landing was okay, and we made it in the touchdown zone. The other thing I do in these size aircraft, although this one's not too bad, it's big for a private jet, but it's typical for me to accidentally... oh, I didn't do the line-up runway camera. Oh, I love that. Missed it. Anyway, it's typical for me to end up floating too far. So Romeo Charlie 7. Charlie 7. Where's Charlie 7 on this chart? Has our colleague landed yet? Can't see them. Charlie 7. Up at Bravo. There's Tango 4. I'm crashing behind you. Why can't I find Charlie 7? I might have to disconnect. I feel bad as the controller. It's 5-6. I'm Charlie 6. Oh, it's so frustrating when this happens. And Kilo Uniform 5. Where's Kilo and Uniform 5? We can work it backwards. Let's stay on the taxiway. There we go. Let's get some Nashville hot chicken. Yes, that is the thing to do in Nashville. Yeah, I found Charlie 6. I feel like the controller's exposed that I didn't know where I was going. Romeo Uniform 5. The problem is I don't even know where signature is. I think it's down there.
Golf India Papa, welcome you to signature as well.
Golf India Papa, say again, sorry?
Golf India Papa, I'm assuming you're parking at signature. You can taxi there via Romeo, Lima 7, Kilo, Uniform 5, cross runway 31.
Yeah, there we go. It's not Charlie 7, it's Lima 7. I can't read my own handwriting.
Lima 7, Kilo, Uniform Sierra.
So we should have gone Lima 7, Kilo,
Golf India Papa.
Uniform 5. We were going to park here. Here's the FBO. Okay, we got to confess.
Would you like any assistance?
Apologies, Manta 246. Can we take Tango 4 and then we'll take Kilo back to the FBO signature? Sorry about that.
That's at 246, no worries, cross 31 at Tango 4, parking via Kilo.
Cross 31 at Tango 4 via Kilo. Thanks so much, Manta 246. Right, now that says Charlie, but I think that's just incorrect. We've got our lights on, runway's clear, controllers helped us out. Yeah, that'll be a phone number. Oh dear, what a shame. Yeah, I wrote Lima 7 and then I wrote Kilo to Uniform 5. My Kilo looks like a Romeo, my Lima is a Charlie.
American 1907, unfortunately Memphis Central is closed. There's no further ATC available. My service terminates changed. Advisory approved.
This is always what happens.
Go in the car, make a
Most exciting stuff happens.
So yeah, have a good day.
Good day.
That's not true. It can be in the air, but often it's
Can I go down Tango 6, Golf India Papa?
I went to Golf India Papa across 31.
We're all missing it.
Let's call them that real airline pilot.
Honestly, I hate the taxiways here.
I wouldn't follow me.
Follow you all the way.
Oh dear. Right. We go to Kilo Uniform 5. There we go. Let's just go and put us down. Let's go and put this taxi out of its misery. Also, sadly, the airport's just running out of scenery to offer us. Next time we'll do it in the 777.
Golf India Papa at Kilo, give way to that airline.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, Roger, unfortunately I can't see him for some reason. I think it's 2020.
Okay. We're going to win. We win this. 2 aeroplanes and we managed to cause congestion. It's always the way, isn't it? Dougal says, makes me feel so much better with my own ground lots. Good. I'm here to make people feel better. The key thing would be to have looked out the window. Sadly, with these sceneries, I dare say that Lima 7 might not be there. However, I can't make that claim if I haven't actually even tried. So let's go and park up. We'll take this stand here. Uniform 5 into the FBO. This is a racing car, this jet. We didn't even talk about the sort of the racing flag. No, that's funny. Our colleague can't see me, yet I can see them. I didn't know that was an issue. Brake set. Right, I'm sure our passengers will never book us again after that. But there we go. Thank you very much for flying along with us and for watching along. And what we'll do now is we will jump into the replay. But it's been great having the controller. A good bit of fun on the ground there. And
Golf India Papa, he has passed a good while ago. You're okay to continue your taxi, thank you.
Yeah, Roger, thanks for that. Much appreciated.
it's
It's
a reality that you can get taxiways wrong. It does happen. Now, there's usually 2 of you, and if you're in an unfamiliar airport, my confidence was based on not knowing that the signature was down here and aiming for Charlie. So had I made Charlie, you know, if Charlie 7 existed, then I was probably going the right way, but it doesn't. Anyway, colleague parking up. Thank you to our colleague for flying along. Absolutely brilliant. And what I'm going to do now is we're going to head into the replay. So thank you to the controller. Let's disconnect from VATSIM. Now our colleague's in a little citation. Excellent. Disconnect. Stop recording. I do not want to see that taxi in ever again. We'll put it back on approach. Landing was fine, I think, but yeah, we just shouldn't have bothered with the glide slope. Just focus out the window. It's not uncommon either in America for the PAPIs to be switched off. They seem surprisingly unreliable. Alright, let's try and enjoy some chase plane views. Should know that Signature or Atlantic are two of the main FPO systems in the US. Thanks, Norby. Yes, I'm so out of my comfort zone with this aeroplane. 20 left. Aeroplane. Now, sadly, I don't think it follows the plane. Yeah, high over the threshold, no surprise. Aiming for these markers here in America. And down. Well, it's hard to get too... Oh, sorry. There you go, we have a tower view. Yeah. That was fine. Just, again, it just should not have bothered correcting onto that glide slope. Just look out the window. Aim at the touchdown point. So high. Plenty of room, though. Keeping it steady. Touchdown. And I think we had the speed right. Because that was a flare. And then the airplane just settled down. Nice and straightforward. It looks firmer than I think it felt when we first did it. I think that's just the replay sampling. That's my excuse for that anyway. Right, let's put it back out on final. Let's jump to a better view. We can get a bit further back than that. Although we didn't really start configuring until this point. And what I'm going to say, oh, we don't have a wing view. So let's wander in, let's pick a nice, what's the best seat here? Can we see the engines? Can anyone see the engines in this airplane? That's pretty cool. Let's go with that one. Right, and I'm going to say thank you all so much for coming along on today's stream. I've really, really enjoyed it. Marcus says replay sampling is going to be my go-to excuse now. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Everyone's allowed that excuse. But yeah, thank you all so much for coming along. It's been absolutely fantastic to chat with you all again. Thanks for flying along. Thanks for chatting. Thanks for watching if you have. And thank you, of course, for those super chats. Really appreciate the support. Thank you to the moderators for looking after us. Great to see you all again. We'll get streaming again. You know, there was still a gap between this and our last one, but we will get back in the air. Like I say, likely to be the 777 or the Phoenix, possibly the 78. We'll do an airliner next time, of course. But we should have a good bit of fun. And like I say, lots to talk about with the Boeing 777 now, and those really getting into the details of that simulation. Really interesting to me. So it should make for a good bit of fun. Anyway, thank you. Do enjoy your evening. Please do keep safe and well. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.